the upgrade for the hoe is just they put another hoe on the other end of it.
What's better than one hoe?
Twin hoes.
So like Twin Peaks, or
Yeah, similar. Yeah, very similar.
Hi Kirby, welcome to the Real Gamerscore podcast. This week I'm joined by Matt.
Hi, Tarragon.
Cameron.
Hi, Kirby.
And Tarragon.
Hi, Matt.
Here at Real Gamerscore, we like to discuss all things Xbox, achievements, and how many ads can we cram into this segment. I don't know, are we beating EA yet? I'm sorry guys, we should have probably told you we were putting ads on the podcast. That's on us, my bad.
Yeah, we're going to a break now. We'll be back after the ad.
This episode is sponsored by Squarespace. Have you guys tried Raid Shadow Legends?
And NordVPN.
Have you guys watched The Boys? It's an ad for The Boys.
Only with my Raycons.
But first, here's the song of the week. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm the man who plays the games. I've been around for 13 long years, lots of time to make my name. And I was round when the Chivos popped, joined the leaderboards to start the race. Made damn sure that I was the one who took first place. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guessed my tag. But what's puzzling you is why I play such bad games. And if you haven't got it by there, then you need to listen to some more old music.
Yeah, I knew exactly what it was after the first few words.
Yeah, I figured. I knew Tarragon would get it. I think that was a given.
Look, I've definitely heard it, but I couldn't get enough of it from Skype
Cutting
letting
out.
me hear. Yeah,
I heard tag, and that was pretty much it.
I've definitely heard of it, and I feel like if I could hear the whole thing, I might get it. But I'm at this stage, I'm pretty well lost.
I really need to start pre-recording these like you do, Tarragon. All right, T, put them out of their
What
misery.
do you mean pre-recording?
Oh, it's Rolling
You
Stones.
used to just come onto the show, do that, and then leave.
I think it's Sympathy for the Devil, Rolling Stones. Yep.
Yes, it is. Fantastic. Good
Jeez.
job.
Okay, yeah, I may not have known that. I've probably heard it in some pop culture thing that I've watched or something.
It's been in a few things. It was in like the first episode of Blacklist. If you've ever watched that.
Oddly enough, the first version of that I ever heard was by Jane's Addiction.
Really?
They did a cover of it on their very first album. It was a live cover. And that was the first time I'd heard it. So it's kind of like, that's kind of like the version I like better than the original because it's the first one you hear.
Yeah, yep. Oh, good job. No one gets to guess in the Discord. Screw you guys.
Yeah. Sucks to be you lot. Speaking of Discord, if you would like to join so that you don't get to guess, discord.io/realgamerscore, and you can join in on the fun there. We always have good fun times, except when we put 3 M's in a row, in which case we have bad.
Yeah, very bad times. Don't test it out. Just take our word for it.
Yeah, but we've been throwing up plenty of memes about something we'll talk about later that have just been, a lot of them are pretty fantastic.
Yep. It really just slid right in there.
Yeah. If you think we're so fantastic, you'd like to throw money at us, like we had a new one. I know what his tag is, because why am I trying to think of what his real name is? Then, you idiot.
I'm gonna say, why are you doxing our?
I'm like, but what was his
You
name?
talking about Fight Club?
Yeah, Fight Club.
Yeah, Fight
Fight Club's new.
Fight Club is our new Patreon.
Sorry, no, it's. Where's the channel? There's the channel. Fight Club.
Oh, I see. Okay, yes.
The X is not silent here.
Right, it's not XLAX Fight Club.
Much like in Jester.
It's just Fight Club.
Fig HTX.
Okay, yes.
Fight Club.
Oh, well, thank you for giving us your hard-earned cash. We don't know what we've done to deserve this, but we'll just take it off your hands. We're happy to.
We know. It was never letting Brad on the show again. That decision came swiftly before he joined.
So you're saying that's not necessarily... You're not saying that is the reason, but you're saying there's a strong possibility that those two things are correlated.
Yeah.
I know it was strange our viewership went up like 500% in 1 week.
I'm just concerned about how they're viewing it.
Yeah, well, I was going to let that one go, but you know what? That's fine. Yeah.
Also, early in the month, so did I mention? No, patreon.com/realgamerscore. That's where you can do it.
Yep.
I'd moved on. I'd been like, I got one of your monies. That's enough for this week. Yeah. Moving on from that, we have random to do. No, because it didn't happen. So moving on from that.
Okay, right.
Moving on from that, because nothing didn't happen. What are you talking about? We have the random to-do list competition, which is Tarragon, you...
Oh, every time I have to explain. God,
look,
just somebody else do it for once.
All right, Tarragon. If you say it perfectly this time, I will literally just snip it and we'll just play the clip every week. We'll just be like, "Oh, hey, Tarragon. Hi, Tarragon. Bye, Tarragon."
So I should realize this is a trap.
Well, the reason you've got to explain it is I have to go quickly figure out which key I'm... Oh, wait, no, we have one already. It's Rocket Arena. Yep.
It was Rocket Arena, yes.
I don't remember the question. Was it Arena or was it Rocket?
It was Arena.
Okay.
I don't even know what you're talking about anymore.
Then
what are we doing?
Who
am I?
I've got it. So the random to-do list is a list of 25 locked achievements from your pool on trueachievements.com. There are some filters that will remove things from that pool.
Oh boy!
Such as the...
Wow, you've explained it really badly.
Yeah.
It's a monthly contest where you get 25 achievements picked from your available games that you have to unlock. Done.
Yep. Wow, that was easy.
See, I just had to trick him into doing it by being that. This is how I'm really good at my job. The stuff I don't really want to do, I just do badly, and then I'm never asked to do it again.
It's the Spinal Tap theory.
Yeah, and then I can just do the stuff I'm good at, which is very little. To
I was
going to
say, mate, that must be a short work week.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah. I'm doing training. Well, not training. It's like all your induction forms and stuff, and so we've had to go through like fire drills and like where to go and what codes mean. Code Alpha Black is for when there's been a child abducted.
Oh,
wow!
So if they put over the PA system, Code Alpha Black, kid's been kidnapped.
Yeah. All right. Just.
I mean, there's not much I can do in the lab from the labs, but I'll keep an eye out if they come through here.
Seems oddly specific, but okay.
Yeah. All right.
It's because like different categories, like brown codes are external emergencies, code yellow is internal. I think code black is for personal threat. So then they've specified personal threat in general, and then they've got a specific one because I guess it happens a lot enough that it needed a specific code.
I mean, yeah, behind all of those codes is probably some story, right?
Yeah. Code brown out.
Yeah, well, that's probably the first one they did.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's when they have no toilet paper, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That was at the start of coronavirus. The hospital couldn't get supplied, and just brownouts everywhere. Or is that code brown eye? Can't remember.
No, don't get it mixed up.
Yeah. Anyway, once you've got your list of 25 achievements, if you unlock one of them within this month and send another game with the word Arena in the title to the random to-do list account on True Achievements, send a message to that account, you'll go into the draw to win Rocket Arena, kindly donated to us by Aftos84, which I think probably means he shouldn't win it.
Yeah, probably.
So
yeah,
I hope you haven't entered, buddy.
Sense, yeah.
We'll see. Well, when I check, we'll see. But yeah, so thank you very much, kind listener, for donating a game, which it's a pretty brand new game, like relatively last couple months, 2 or 3 months.
Like 6 weeks ago, something like that?
Yeah, it's
very
definitely
recent.
not an EA access and in the vault already and not spiraled downhill quickly. Moving on to our news, because I'm pretty sure that was... Yeah, it's everything. I mean, obviously, the big news is that we don't know anything about the Series X yet. Nothing.
I mean, is that news? I mean, we've just been reporting on that each week, pretty much.
Yeah, still nothing yet. We keep sending letters, but they haven't replied.
Yeah, they just keep
It's
sending
literally
us
letters. Yeah. What they did talk about, though, was the Series S, which was kind of... Everyone knew about it, except for no one.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I mean, everyone thought they knew about it.
Yeah.
They knew it was a thing.
Yeah.
It's always been a thing, and it was kind of officially named a thing because leaks of the name of it got out, and then now it's like specs got leaked, and it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided that it was probably a good idea to maybe officially announce the thing before it's out.
Yeah.
So
And they did it. So it was another journalistic, whatever, games journalist sort of posted some of the specs. I think it was
Brad
Thorough.
Sims, I think.
Yeah, from Thorough.
Yeah.
It's just not him by himself. He's got a company backing him.
I don't know.
So they posted a picture of it, and I think the price and release date is what they originally posted.
Yeah, I think it was just a pic that had the picture of it and the estimated retail price, and then they posted some other stuff.
And that sort of exploded a little bit. People were freaking out, and then Microsoft at quite a late time in the evening.
Yeah, I think Windows Central picked it up and ran with a bit more info first, and then Xbox sort of said, "Okay, we'll make it official then." Fine.
They posted a meme, and then they posted an announcement. So that's news these days.
Their meme game though was
pretty good. To be fair, yes, I am a little bit of fellow kids, but I did laugh.
Yeah, it was quite good. So they've announced basically much smaller footprint. I think it's like 60% smaller than the Series X.
Yep.
Which is like saying it's 40% the size. I don't know. Anyway.
How long is a piece of string? Yeah. I mean, they're saying it's the smallest Xbox ever, apparently.
I mean, that's not hard.
No, considering
to be fair.
the original Xbox was, you could see it from orbit, so...
And everything else has been pretty damn big.
Yeah.
Although it looks... And I hadn't thought about this until it was mentioned. It looks a heck of a lot like just a standard Xbox One, sort of like an Xbox One S or a One X. Like, so much so that there could be confusion with it.
Yeah, but maybe that's why... I think that's part of the reason why they people were going, oh, I don't really like the look of it. If you haven't seen this thing, basically, it's a big white box with a
speaker.
Basically, it looks like a speaker. It's a large...
With a solar eclipse on the side.
Yeah, it's a big... it looks like it could be a boombox or a hot plate. There's so many memes. But I think that's probably why they made it so distinctive. Because I'm like looking at my entertainment cabinet ahead of me at the moment, and I can see the series. I've got a One X sitting there, and that's pretty distinctive. But the One S that I've got next to it, the white one, looks pretty similar. But that big sort of black circle vent on it does make it stand out quite a bit.
Yeah. So it's been announced with a price point of $299 US, £249, and is releasing on November 10th, 2020. We presume it's releasing at the same time as the Series X, because that would be strange to do those separately.
Yeah, it would be very strange.
So fairly confident that the Series X will release at that time, but obviously can't confirm exactly. Briefly leaked also was the Series X price point of $499 US.
Don't know that was actually confirmed.
It wasn't. They haven't.
It hasn't been yet.
Have not been confirmed, but that's
sounds about right.
A safe estimate.
It was part of the same leak, so yeah. But Microsoft has been very careful to only confirm the Series S information, basically.
Yeah. So they've said essentially that it can do 1440p at up to 120 frames. Has the same custom NVMe drive as the Series X, but smaller. So it's 512 gig instead of the terabyte. Ray tracing, variable refresh rate, variable shader.
Yeah, pretty much all of the same guts, except just runs a bit slower. Doesn't have a disk drive.
No disk drive was the other.
Yep. Does have an expansion port for everybody who was worrying about that. So it takes the same expansion ports. There was some talk about whether or not the internal storage would be slower or not. I highly doubt that it would be. It doesn't make sense to me to do that. Particularly, I mean, if you did that, then you'd have to have separate expansion ports that run slower for that. It just doesn't make any sense. And part of those discussions was part of the core principle of the Xbox Series is that it has really, really fast storage, and that's actually a huge driver for a lot of game development. And to drop that would mean that basically you're undermining the Series X itself with the development. So anyway, it'll be the same speed. It's just clock and RAM, pretty much.
Yeah, and that price point basically lines it up with sort of the 1S/1X sort of in between those, which is crazy for me to think about because it's essentially a 1X, but faster more frames and a faster load times
and ray tracing built in. Well, that was what I was quite impressed with. Is it's got the ray tracing there as well. So I guess that's part of the hardware. So it's pretty nice.
Yeah. It's looking good. They also Windows Central in their article, and again I find it weird that it was mentioned because it kind of seemed unprompted, which made me sort of think maybe this leak was less unplanned than previously thought. Was they talked about all access?
Yes, they did.
And a lot of articles have run with this all access story because that wasn't mentioned at all in the original leak.
Yeah,
as far as I'm aware.
Well, yeah, as far as we're aware. Although they have been talking about how the Series X there was already going to be an upgrade path from the Series X. I mean, we talked about it back in December or whenever it was about them.
So October was the mention of this upgrade to Scarlet. A week ago, they mentioned, but I don't feel like it was widely spread, that they're introducing the program into more countries.
Right.
But I only read that up because I looked into the all access because it felt weird that suddenly every single place was running this all access story.
Yeah, no, you're right, and we haven't really heard anything since then about that. Essentially, they've gone very quiet about it, considering that it seems like a very, very sort of good idea, and when you put the numbers on paper, it actually makes a lot of sense for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I guess from Xbox's point of view, not confirming that stuff now is possibly because they don't know all of the price points, they don't know all of the countries they're going to be in, and all the markets they're going to put that in, and probably don't even have the agreements for a lot of that stuff nailed down just yet. So they can't really talk about events of that stuff because it's commercial agreements with people like Telstra for us, or etc. So I can understand why they're not talking about that, but the thing about the Windows Central article is it went into a lot more detail than what the original leak did, and a lot of that information in the Windows Central article has been shown to be correct, so I can't see why. It puts more credence to that other information about all access. Plus, it absolutely makes sense to me that that's what they're trying to do this generation. They're really pushing for subscription service stuff, and honestly, I think that's kind of brilliant. They're differentiating themselves completely from Sony in that respect, and I think over the longer term that might be the win. It's like you might have people buy a PlayStation day one, and they do that, and they play some games, and they get bored, and then they think, oh, well, I could just put down $25 a month and get an Xbox as well, and then they've got 100 games, and they see how good the ecosystem is essentially, and go from there. So it's kind of win-win.
Mm-hmm. Adding on to that too, you don't know, we might have an upgraded version of the Series X in 2 years, and then because it's running off of a subscription model, we could just be jumping straight from one model to another. Yeah,
well, it was. I watched a video from Alana Pierce about that, and she basically made that comment that suddenly the naming of the consoles made a hell of a lot more sense, because you have phones now that are like the S and the X, and you upgrade to this, or you're on a subscription plan and you add a new phone to that to get your upgrade and so forth. So Xbox seem to be following exactly the same path, and so there'll be an Xbox SE at some point, and an Xbox XE or whatever. It'll be the next whatever code name. So
the next Xbox,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking for where my other dog's gone.
Are you saying someone let them out?
No.
Who?
Definitely should
Who?
both be-
Who?
No one should have done that.
Someone
Is this leaked gameplay footage of Legion?
no, we're not watching Mini Gods. Yeah, so there's been some talk around whether this was a controlled leak or not, right? What do we think? I mean, put your tinfoil hat on.
No, I don't think it was. Somebody's been throwing around the whole, they just wanted to leak them the price to see what the response was, and the thing's like, no, they don't work like that. They've been
playing chicken on this for way too long for them to mess it up like that. Yeah.
What I think's interesting is
if this was. Sorry, you go.
Yeah, just getting on the price point and the capability of it. The price point of the S versus the non-disc version of the PlayStation 5 will be an interesting debate because, I mean, if it's $50 less for a PlayStation 5 without the the disc drive on it versus $200 less for a Xbox One Series X or S, if you're getting a digital machine only and you're getting this for $200 less and you're also getting Game Pass with an inbuilt library, it becomes very interesting, I think. And particularly right now when people are on a budget. It's like, the consoles are about the same power. Okay, I can't afford the whole thing. Maybe I can get this other one. I get a whole bunch of free games with it too. Well, that's pretty sweet. I think it's very compelling. I say that as an Xbox fan, of course, so take that with a grain of salt. But it feels like a very compelling move, at least from a consumer point of view.
Yeah, these things are priced to move. Like $299 is crazy. Like that's incredibly cheap in terms of talking about next gen hardware. I mean,
where can you spend $300 and get a decent rig that'll do ray tracing?
Exactly.
Right now.
Exactly. Yeah, that's. Yeah, and just sort of thinking about okay, what is it comparable with? Like, what can you?
Well, how many pregnancy tests would that buy?
You know what? I'll tell you what's comparable.
$300.
That post I saw on Twitter that a vial of insulin in the US costs $324.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's I would want to swear a lot about the US medical system because wow. Anyway. Yeah,
that's another issue. That's an entirely separate issue in a separate field.
Are we? But they got to be making a loss on this, right? They gotta. There's no way that they could be making money at $299
on the S. Yeah,
on the S. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. No, the thing is, hardware on
how
release.
How downgraded is the GPU? That's the thing.
Did they release the spec on that?
I don't think so.
I don't think they're losing a lot. I mean, the GPU's still got to be pretty good to do the ray tracing and to do that many frames, even if it's offloading some of the work to the CPU.
They do have the specs. So graphics at Xbox, the Series X is 12 teraflops. We knew that already. Series S is 4 teraflops and only 20 compute units compared to the 52 compute units of the X. It also runs at a lower clock. What I think what a lot of this does is they may not actually have a completely separate core. I mean, all of these things are system on chip. They've got everything built in, all of the graphics, all of the CPU, part of the I/O, and everything is all built onto the one chip. The thing is that they fabricate those chips, and a lot of them just won't pass. They do tests on all the components, and some of those components won't work. It's why the basic system on the chip has got 60 compute units or something like that, because they expect a bunch of them to fail, so they get more of a yield if they have a lower expectation. What the Series S might do is that they'll have the ones that fail even further. They can use those as a Series S. So it's essentially the same fabrication from the same factory. They don't actually spend any more money. They're just making use of components they couldn't have used in the X.
Which they usually would have just removed or sold on to other third parties to use in whatever they want to use.
Yeah, and I sort of, given it's so specialised, I'm not even sure they'd do that.
True.
Notably the processor seems to be the same speed and the same number of cores, so it's really just the graphics cores. And for what it needs to do, I guess it's aiming at 1440p versus 4K. What's 4K in Ps?
4K upscaling. So upscaling to 4K potentially, depending on who utilizes it, obviously. whereas the Series X is pushing for 8K, 120
4K is
at its peak.
Is 4K actually 4,000 by?
Yeah.
Okay, it is. So I just wasn't sure if it was number of pixels or it's.
No, yeah, pixels by
Yep.
Because 1440s.
I mean, 1440 is more than your usual sort of standard. Sorry, I've said standard high definition, but that doesn't make any sense. Your usual high definition. It's a kind of an interesting point to be pointing towards. I mean, it makes sense of using a monitor, not so much for a TV, but it's more the refresh rate and the other stuff that's kind of more interesting to me. To be honest, I'm happy to run things at 1080 if I can run them at 120 hertz, 60 FPS.
Yeah, I was actually quite.
2K.
I was actually.
Yeah.
This is going into a little bit of what I've been doing, but I've been playing through a lot of the Batman Arkham games and cleaning them up, and I was really surprised actually how well and how smooth the version on PC ran. I mean, I actually had a much better PC this time around than when I originally played it. But wow, you just notice the frame rate difference. It's like locked at 30 on Xbox.
Yeah.
And it was like 60 or locked at 60. You just notice it straight away. So yeah, if they can maintain that kind of 60 or even 120 hertz, I mean, the thing is, of course, you need potentially monitors that can actually display at 120 hertz, and
that's the other bit. Yeah,
yeah.
Which we'll get there, but I think that one of the other things that do you guys have 4K TVs?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But
I'd be curious to I might actually throw that question out to the Discord as well to get an idea of how many people have actually moved up to 4K. Because I think
this is a terrible sample pool. To be honest,
to be on the other hand, it can only do 60. But that's not everything, because I think if it's rendering it at 120, that still counts. It still has an impact on what you're doing. Yes. So,
And it's one of those things that's really hard to describe why it's better, but everything just looks better. It's smoother. And smoother.
I used to do
means nothing when you're describing it.
Yeah, I used to have exactly the same arguments. It's like, well, the eye can't read that fast. It's quicker than the blink of the eye. It's like, just wait till you try it and see. Yeah. Like, it was only it was only until I actually saw it and went, huh, yeah, okay, I get it now. That's our fifth guest for the night. Yeah.
All right, so I guess are we? So are we thinking? Is this? I'm probably a stupid question to ask, but does this change any minds about any purchasing decisions, or?
I might get both.
Okay.
Yeah,
just to see.
I suppose it's
to be able to compare.
Probably worth clarifying that the thing on the box that looks like a speaker isn't actually a speaker. I don't think we actually stated that.
It's a big old heat vent.
Yeah.
I also think it is so much smaller. I'm wondering, because the Xbox One X was way smaller than the original Xbox One, but it was dense as heck.
Yeah.
And it was heavy. So I'm wondering how heavy this is, because
probably
otherwise this seems like a pretty reasonable portable console in a sense. Like that you can take it somewhere else, set it up relatively easily as long as you have a screen, and it's rather than taking your Series X, which is, I mean,
a beast.
You would, but
yeah, you just strap it to your back and just carry the monolith up the mountain.
You strap it to your back upside down so that the heat coming out of it just propels you forward.
Pushes you up the mountain. Yeah, perfect.
Made some slight modifications.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically got a jetpack.
Just run the new Crysis remaster, and it'll just push you all the way up.
Yeah, you'll get to heaven in no time.
Yeah, I'm very much in the boat of you know what? If this had a disc drive, I would no doubt be buying both. Because it doesn't have a disc drive, I'm kind of like, I don't know whether I'll just buy a Series X and potentially get one, or getting another Series X.
Yeah, well, I don't really feel the need to have two consoles, so I'll just be getting the Series X, and I was always going to be getting the Series X, so it doesn't change my purchase decision, but I was already locked in anyway. I guess with the drive issue, I mean, it has USB ports. There's a very good chance you can get an external drive and just plug it in, and it might work.
Sure.
Given Xbox has been much more open to having things plug in and get used over the last few years, so it would not surprise me.
And the fact that the games don't run off the discs anymore anyway. They're basically just installed to the hard drives. They're just there for verification.
Just going back to Tarragon's point, just be careful what you say, yeah? We don't need a Connect 3.0. Don't need one.
You have to drink your verification can.
Is that really you?
Oh no, I was out of frame for 5 seconds. No, please don't shut down my whole system.
Phil Spencer takes off the mask. It's just Don Matrick.
It was me all along.
It's the gulag.
It was me all along, Xbox. Yes, very good. Next news story. I think we're done.
Yeah, that's.
I don't even care. We're going done.
All right, cool.
That's sorry. One very last thing. I only just noticed this. In the specs that are on Windows Central, they talk about the color, and color is matte white. Obviously, that's what we've seen, but it also has black.
Oh, okay.
Apparently,
Does it actually?
Yeah, that's what it says there. So apparently,
I
you get a
suppose
Series X in black.
I suppose that makes sense because if you look at again, I'm looking at my 1S.
Is the vent then white?
1S. Yeah, that's the question, right? Is it do they reverse the colours?
Or maybe it's matte. It's saying matte white black because it's got the black grill. Maybe that's what they mean.
Maybe it's
Yeah. Okay. I was getting my hopes up. Oh well.
I was just saying because I think they definitely do the
Because the other thing is matte is not very white, as we've all learned.
No, we're not doing this joke. No, we are definitely not doing anything.
You've essentially just said black and black.
Oh gosh, no.
Somebody pass me some spray paint.
Oh no. Oh god. Next PAX, none of you better be wearing those t-shirts. All right, that's all I'm saying right now.
We're not making any promises.
This is Matt. Have you seen him?
Oh god. Oh. All right. Well,
and then underneath will be an actual picture.
No, absolutely not. And oh god, I can only imagine some screenshot from the podcast with some MS.
I was going to say
done on it.
No. Just wait till the colours invert on Skype again. I'll take a screenshot.
All right.
I'm as pale as the driven snow.
Anyway.
All right. Anyway.
Do we think that much like the Xbox One, and I kind of with the 360, but it wasn't so public, that there will be some kind of launch day achievement?
Well, I hope so. I saw somebody post on Twitter about it.
They have not confirmed nor denied.
No, it's true.
I mean, according to them, the Series X isn't even coming out, though. So.
Yeah, that's true. They haven't announced it. Yeah, no,
they're probably just holding it tight to their chest. They don't want to reveal before Sony does.
I'm just debating whether if they do have one, I just hold on to it for like 7 years and sell it on German eBay account.
Do you reckon they'll have one, like specific ones for the Xbox One S and the Series X and the Series S?
No.
Yeah, you have to buy both to get.
I really hope not.
Do we think?
Why would you say that, Tarragon? I'm going to have to cut that out if they hear that. Oh, God.
Because they're listening.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're definitely.
We've always known.
I send the podcast to Phil Spencer every week.
Yeah.
Notice me, senpai.
It's gonna. It's almost certainly going to be like they do with the Cyberpunk console, where it's built into the Xbox and you have to sign in.
Yeah.
That's going to be unfortunate because I don't really care about mine, and I would like to give it to Matt, which means Matt's going to have to give me his details, which means I'm going to get all of Matt's games.
Oh boy. Yeah.
It'd be impossible. It's impossible for him to change his password or something. I mean, that would not be something he could do. Or
I actually am
it
very
would be impossible
interested.
because I've already done it. How does he get back into the account when he does not know the password?
He asks you, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was going to say I'm very interested to seeing how home consoles will work next gen too.
Yeah. That's the other thing.
Keep it consistent.
I can't see them removing it.
Whether
or not they expand it, because they might be expecting
an additional one. Is
they might have to.
What I
really
care about.
Yeah,
wasn't the original plan on the Xbox One to have the family of 5 accounts or something?
Yeah, a long time ago when they first announced it, but they didn't really get into what those plans were before everyone dogpiled on them and got out the pitchforks and torches.
Yeah, wasn't there something? There's something similar with the Xbox 360 stuff where you could set up a family and you'd have sub accounts off that, and I'm pretty sure they could share gold.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that stopped after a while, but you could certainly do some sharing, and that was I think up to 5. But yeah, whether they do that, I
mean,
mean, the thing is, the home console sharing thing's awesome as it is. They don't really need to do anything different with it. It's already great. So
just
anything else would be gravy.
One, so I can have separate Xbox One and Series home console. That's all I would want. If it doesn't happen, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and it's just like you're kind of an extreme case as well. Like, you know, ultimately the home console is program is targeted at people who have like one main console and the other in one room, and the kids have another console, and one's the home and one's it's to be like that kind of sharing. So yeah, we just happen to take advantage.
I mean, what are you talking about, Tarragon? None of us.
Yeah.
I'm actually, to be fair, my home console is sitting next to its regular one, so I'm actually probably in that use case. I just don't have any kids or any good excuse.
My dog's trying to dig to my home console. It's under the bed and he's just going ham. Yeah.
Does it know your password?
He's got two-factor authentication. It's fine.
That's all right.
Yeah. Real quick. The other thing I'd seen, because it's the price point has been so such a talking point, is a lot of devs that I talk to are now like, it's a lot easier for people to get into the Xbox ecosystem. It makes Game Pass more attractive.
True. Yeah.
For them to put their game in, at least.
Yeah, and also there was that thing, you may have talked about it already, but there was that developer who said, we put our game onto Game Pass, and then we literally had a tenfold amount of sales.
Descenders, yeah.
Mike Rose from Descenders, who, funnily enough, they recently released on PlayStation, and he posted a video of him trying to find his game.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And
literally typing the name of the game, and it wasn't the top hit in the search. That was crazy.
New games, and it was not there. Went into whatever, went into the search bar, started typing one letter at a time. Got to the entire name, Descenders, all the letters. It was down the bottom of the list under things like Descent, Descending, Descend.
It was
like
the sort of below things that were less of a match. Is just crazy. Something's wrong with their search engine.
That feels like something is wrong there. That doesn't feel right, and that's
you were looking for this indie game. Are you sure you want to play these other games that were bought more?
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much. I feel like that kind of pushes you away as a developer, seeing literally no fanfare.
Well, that was I mean,
and that was a big criticism of Xbox originally as well.
I was
with a lot of
for the
stuff,
360 especially. If you weren't on the, if you weren't the Summer of Arcade or whatever it was, then you might as well have not existed because Microsoft didn't put any marketing and basically buried all your games.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I didn't exist then, so I'm not really aware of any of that discussion.
Yeah, I remember there was there a documentary was it Phil Fish?
Yeah, Phil Fish. Was it the Super Meat Boy?
Yes,
guys, and
that's it,
and there was another one which was specifically Minecraft, but yeah, it was Phil Fish, Super Meat Boy, and I think it was somebody else in that. I can't remember who. It was.
Jonathan Blow was with.
That's right.
Braid,
for Braid.
Yeah.
The thing is, all of those games did well.
Eventually.
Fez probably not as well as the other two, but and the thing is that in itself was marketing.
Of course.
So it's interesting. And I don't think overall though the Xbox Live Arcade was actually that profitable for developers. It was there was a few major hits that made money, but I don't think overall it was that good as far as selling games.
Not surprising, to be honest.
Yeah. So I think the way they've gone now with the indies and basically treating them like full games, it's very appealing for us achievement hunters because we get the full 1,000, and generally they're not necessarily big games that you have to put a lot of time into. I guess it's just more accessible, I find.
Having the I guess the showcase reels.
Yeah.
All the different options as
well.
Yeah, definitely. And what was the one that just recently happened? Each week they showcase 5 different games.
There's the summer of...
Was that summer?
There's the summer sale or whatever. I think it was literally summer of arcade or something.
Yeah. or Winter of
ID
Arcade
at some point,
us.
But it didn't seem like as fixed on a few titles as.
Yeah, they
past
revealed a few over time, and I kind of got buried. I think I was keeping an eye on it, and then it sort of vanished because it didn't keep popping up in my feeds. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Summer Spotlight. That's what it's called.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Moving on from that to the game that is coming out later rather than sooner, Cyberpunk 2077.
I mean, to be fair,
I thought you were going to talk about Halo Infinite. Sorry.
Well, we don't even know that's coming out at all.
Could have been, yes, Matt. It could be described literally every game.
Yep.
It's so it came up that in an article somewhere, I don't know who initially wrote about it, that there would be microtransactions within the multiplayer separate thing that they're doing, which is tangentially related to Cyberpunk in the sense that it's in the same universe.
Yeah, so CD Projekt Red confirmed that they are doing a multiplayer game / mode / separate downloadable maybe, but it's basically completely divorced from the single player experience. Like it's like totally different.
A completely separate project is how they've described it. So entirely separate, and presumably it won't have launched from the same thing.
Probably not.
Potentially like but linked like how Crackdown 3
did. Or like a Warzone sort of thing where it's like complete.
I was kind of wondering whether they'd go down the Grand Theft Auto 5 path, and that's kind of like that becomes the main game once everybody's kind of got sick of the single player. Something I saw the other day actually about Grand Theft Auto 5 and the online is that they focus so much on the online, they actually cancelled DLC for the single player.
Oh, yes, they did.
That's like, what the?
Oh boy, did they.
Yeah, like, what the?
I mean, but everyone was pretty happy with that because the online was so good. So
no, it was completely flawless. Never had any problems. Definitely didn't discontinue one of the achievements that I haven't got on the 360 version. I'm not salty about it at all.
Definitely wasn't
delayed. Should have just been hacked. Should have just got hacked sooner, buddy.
Yeah.
Just run like the wind.
Yeah, I watched a video actually basically talking about Red Dead Redemption 2 and how it's basically a lot of the people behind Rockstar that kind of did a lot of their sort of big games are basically left or leaving, and this is their last game. And so it's kind of like it's the end of an era, and even the story of Red Dead Redemption 2 is almost a, sort of that journey and kind of getting to an end point of, you know, done all the things, and this is a nice sign-off. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It sort of made me think, well, okay, what's Rockstar going to do next? Because, you know, they're basically
GTA 5 again, apparently.
Yeah, they're just re-releasing GTA 5. But it's kind of like Bungie. They're just
Skyrim all over
they're just
again.
re-releasing Destiny. It's like that's online games now is the thing from these companies, which is kind of disappointing because I'd like to see something original from Bungie. Much as they've annoyed me over the years, I still got a soft spot for them.
So no microtransactions whatsoever within their single-player game. Not potentially. The multiplayer project will have some microtransactions. They had announced this previously that it would already that it will have microtransactions because it's multiplayer and you have to have cosmetics. You have to have that. You don't have to, but companies will have those cosmetics and that recurring stream of money. Mm-hmm. So, are we upset that there's that there's microtransactions in the multiplayer, which they are explicitly stating is a separate thing?
Is the multiplayer going to be like? Is it going to be a free to play thing on its own? Do I have to buy the original game to get access to it? Like, that's kind of the question, I think.
Okay, so we don't have you don't have enough context and information.
Yeah, if it's going to be like, oh, it's like a Fortnite like battle royale where it's like it's just a free download that you can get, or a Warzone free download, and they put microtransactions in it. Sure, they got to make their money somehow. Otherwise, you know, like it's a free to play game. Like, how do you justify? And if it's only cosmetics, I don't really care. If I got to buy the original game to get the multiplayer, that gets a little murkier.
I'd argue that you're buying the original game, you get an entire single player campaign. And that campaign is apparently humongous. You're getting a lot of content for it. On top of that, you might be getting multiplayer. Thing is that running multiplayer and servers and things like that costs money. Making the content to sell you in the microtransactions costs money. So, you know, if it was just buying, you're actually paying just for a multiplayer game, and then there were microtransactions on top of it, I can see that being an issue, a legitimate complaint. But you're getting a huge single player campaign. You're going to get a lot of hours of enjoyment out of that. The multiplayer just feels like gravy on top of that, and then microtransactions keep it going. I don't really have a problem with it. I guess as long as the microtransactions aren't game breaking, you aren't paying to win per se, or if it does, that's very, very minor. Anything where you're literally paying to be a stronger character than anybody else, that's where I really have issues.
Okay, I asked a question. They're gonna make their money. Yeah, I just noticed on TA that Cyberpunk 2077.
I just saw that too.
$99.95 limited edition bundle
In Australia.
In Australia. Yeah, limited edition bundle for the Xbox One X is $3,099.95.
What a bargain!
So that, and you also can't purchase it until the 18th of November 2020. But you can redeem code.
That must be when the Series X comes out then.
yeah, all makes sense. Yeah.
Well, this one's gold plated like that PlayStation, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The question would be, does that include all of the microtransactions or not?
No, of course it doesn't. Are you kidding me?
You get one pre-order skin.
Well, that's all right.
Not one that anyone would use. Yeah.
Or one that you can see. It's on the back of your head.
No, exactly. I mean, it's a first-person game, so yeah, you can't see it.
Yeah.
Are we excited for Cyberpunk? Just as a side note.
Yes, I'm excited for the game. I have reservations about the company, and mostly just like the company's got a great pedigree. The games it releases are great. There are questions about crunch and developer crunch that I'm not comfortable with, and that's sort of more of a recent thing. Yeah. So yes, game. Yes. Really like. I've always liked Cyberpunk. I played the Cyberpunk role playing game back in the day. Always had an interest in that kind of storyline. But yeah. So yeah. I'm going to be getting it. Yeah. I know, right?
Sorry, but like.
Game,
yes. What now?
Ethical questions.
Yeah. And the role playing game first came out in like late or early 90s, I think.
I'll say late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was before I was born.
Quite possibly. You're pretty young. I mean, you were born until 2009 or something.
Yay! I'm young by association.
So Cyberpunk or Cyberpunk? Was it just called Cyberpunk?
Cyberpunk. Yeah,
okay. 1988.
Oh, there we go.
Late 80s. Yep.
Was the first Cyberpunk, then 2020, and Red was like the second and fourth editions or whatever.
Yeah, I think I played the second. Yeah. Anywho.
Okay, yeah, 2020 was 1990, 2005 was Cyberpunk V 3.0, and 2020 expected is Cyberpunk Red.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
It's also worth noting, I think a lot of that was based on William Gibson's work, which was kind of fairly, what's the word? Not instrumental. It was fairly influential as far as making cyberpunk a genre.
Gotta hack the Gibson.
Yeah, so that was, I think, after he wrote like a few of the books in that, like Neomaster. Then Cyberpunk, the role-playing game, sort of came out and started. Yeah, and I think Shadowrun was another one around that era, which is kind of mixing magic with cyberpunk, which is a whole other thing.
I enjoyed the books.
Yeah. There were books.
Yeah, the original Syndicate. Actually.
Wow.
Anyway,
yeah. Anyway, we got off tangent there. Yes, looking forward to the game. In short, I heard that.
It's taken so long to get here that the hype has decreased for me. Like, it was really cool initially, and now the less I'm seeing it because they're sort of announcing something and then going away for a long time. It's not like Kingdom Hearts 3 where I was hooked from day one and 15 years ago. Yeah. And so.
Yeah, but I guess you've already got that emotional attachment to Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. You were always going to want Kingdom Hearts. So Cyberpunk is a brand.
That's the difference.
It's a brand new thing.
I don't have that attachment, so I'm kind of like, I will probably play it. I mean, I physically own it because of the console, so I will likely play it at some point. Am I going to play it day one? Probably not. Or maybe just to try it out because I know I've got it. but I doubt it's going to be one that day one and I'm hooked and this is what I spend the next 120 plus hours of my life on, kind of thing.
Well, you don't have 120 hours to put into any game, do you? Like, literally, you're the sub 1 hour game player.
Yeah, I ran like a kid.
120 hours to put into every game, Tarragon. I just don't know where they are.
But you could play.
Kirby's going to do Friday the 13th with us on Sunday.
No. I could play 120 sub-hour games for sure, Tarragon.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You could play 120 hours of one game or 120 of 1 hour games and get like 120,000 Gamerscore.
Yeah.
Choices.
Pro Gamerscore.
Enjoyable experience.
I'm not gonna beat Matt with Cyberpunk. Is all I'm saying.
Okay. All right, we'll see.
But who else are you going to buddy up? How else are you going to buddy up with Keanu?
I'm not. I was like, oh my god, and now I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah.
You're no longer breathtaking.
I mean, as long as they bring out like a Bill and Ted skin for him, I'll be happy.
Yes. Yeah. That's the kind of microtransaction I'll get behind.
Just get it on Steam and someone will have a mod for you.
Yeah, blatant pay for advertising in your video game. Speaking of which...
Man, I was really hoping we wouldn't get to talk about this. Okay. EA added and then promptly removed in-game ads from UFC 4, and I'm pretty sure they patched it into UFC 3 as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain. Not as sort of big and in your face, but I'm fairly certain UFC 3 had some ads for the boys.
Mm-hmm.
The TV show, not like just ads for men, just in case you would. TV show, the Amazon Prime show.
The Boys?
It's all TV, yeah.
Yep.
Not like ads for men. Ads for the show, The Boys.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the big deal here? Because this completely went off. It was off my radar.
I mean, it's just... So it's a full-price game. It's a quote-unquote AAA full retail title.
Mm-hmm.
It was released... it was added a month after the game was released, so that reviews didn't talk about it, as these companies tend to do now with these sort of things. Like Ubisoft always adds their time savers and microtransactions later, so that it's not talked about in reviews and not brought up at all.
Mm-hmm.
Is this like Control adding assist mode? Like really, really late?
Yeah.
Kind of, but like the worst version of it.
Yeah.
So, basically, ads for Amazon Prime popped up at random moments during gameplay. So, like in replays of highlights and in between rounds and stuff.
Yeah, so that's a bit... It's like, yeah, that's more like the TV experience, but
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
not the TV experience
it's
you want.
UFC experience. Getting advertised to at every 5 seconds.
I guess the other counterpoint to that, though, another AAA game from way back, Burnout Paradise,
Yes,
came out with advertising on billboards and actually would call off to an advertising server, it was shown, and would go and fetch those, and it was just changed per region, all that sort of stuff. So that was like pretty advanced at the time. And I don't think anybody really batted an eyelid too much about that. It was just sort of like got a bit about it, but also it wasn't in your face. It's like...
And you were smashing them.
A lot of them, yeah, it was smashing right through them. So it was just kind of like, it's just background, and it's just made the city feel more alive in some ways. So
quote-unquote fun advertising as opposed to...
Stop you playing the game and get in your way, yeah.
So they put out a quote... earlier this week, the team turned on ad placements in EA Sports UFC 4 that appeared during the replay moments in gameplay. This type of advertising inventory is not new to the UFC franchise, though we have typically reserved displaying ads to specific main menu tiles or octagon logo placements. It is abundantly clear from your feedback that integrating ads into the replay and overlay experience is not welcome. We realize that this should have been communicated with players ahead of time, and that's on us. We want to make sure our players have the best possible experience playing EA Sports UFC 4, so ad integration in the replay and overlay experience will not be reappearing in the future. Thank you for your continued feedback on EA Sports UFC 4. What a title, my god.
Yeah, no, they got to make sure they got the SEO right on that to put the full title in.
So my question, who thought it would go over well with gamers? Like, who in who was driving that and thought it would be a good idea, then that people would be okay with it.
And Android Wilson thought it was a great idea. He was like, beep, beep,
I'm
beep.
certain they knew it wouldn't be good, but just went, maybe they'll put up with it, because that's been a lot of their stuff. That's been a lot of their stuff over the past 5 years. Is let's try this. Maybe they'll put up with it long enough that it's okay.
Yeah, we'll push the boundary as much as we can.
We've already won worst company in America how many times?
Well, twice, but then they entered the awards. So
Yeah.
Can't go much lower than low.
I still think Activision's way up there, way above EA in anything bad as far as bad companies go. But,
Activision in recent times of knowledge of what we've learned,
Yep.
If we'd known that back then, I'm sure EA would have never had a snowball's chance in hell of winning that award.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not bitter about how they killed the Guitar Hero franchise at all. Not bitter at all. No.
We realize this should have been communicated with players ahead of time, and that's on us. Isn't every decision that they make on them?
Yes.
Like,
literally, yes.
You can't be like, you can't be like, whoa, sorry guys, we didn't realize, we probably should have told you something.
It was Bill's fault in marketing.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry, he's been dealt with.
Like there's two options.
They say in the lunchbox.
They knew what was going to happen, or at least they knew what they were doing, and knew that there would be backlash and hoped it wouldn't be much, or they, as a company and as a whole, are just so blind to anything outside of their circle that they genuinely thought this was a brilliant idea that people wanted.
I mean, look, usually I go with never attribute malice to something that can be explained by stupidity, but I think in this case, I'm going to probably have to lean on the malice side, because it really does feel like it was intentional.
Only because if this was the first time they'd done something where they've had to go, whoa, that's on us, we'll just pull it back, then sure, yeah, they probably didn't really think about it. Again, they're pushing the boundary to see where what they can make normal.
It's not a quick and easy thing to do. Like, they've just gone and made a bunch of deals with advertising companies to put content into a game. They've put the technology into the game to be able to do that. It's not something you just go, let's just try this out. It's something that they've planned. It's something that's possibly been a part of the game from the get-go that they've just turned on. You know, it's
not like accidentally turning on crossplay in Fortnite.
No, it's not flipping a switch, or it might have been flipping a switch. They might have had a plan for ages, but no, I think I tend to agree that it was just something that they turned on to see how people reacted, and then got very surprised at how badly they reacted, perhaps. Yeah. And just as a comparison point, going back to the Xbox One S leaks and whether or not they were leaked by Xbox themselves, just on a parallel, I think EA doing what they did and it not being an accident is far more likely than the leaks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, the way that what the EA are doing, that's how they really test a market and gather the feedback. Whereas revealing a $299 price point, which people were probably expecting anyway for that kind of kit, is not really testing the waters kind of leak. Do you know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think they were testing the waters of that. I think they were trying to go viral in a sense. They knew they were basically going to announce, and they thought of a good way to go viral, and that's why the meme came out, and also why it was handed so quickly, relatively late at night.
Yeah,
I mean, 3 p.m. our time, which would have been like 1 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's on the West Coast, though, isn't it?
I mean, Microsoft is a global company at the end of the day, and I'm sure that they were pretty close to announcing anyway. They had the assets ready.
What I would suspect has happened. I think the leak is a legitimate leak. I don't think they planned that. But what they would have done is that they're getting in contact with people who are people who would get that information early. Sent there to a lot of people. We're going to announce soon. Here's a bit of preparatory information. Somebody decided to leak that. And that's, then it gathered steam. Windows Central went, well, we've got this information too. We'll just give out more of it. And Xbox is just like, well, okay.
Push the timeline up a week or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There would have been no question, though, that this would have been announced at E3. if E3 had gone ahead.
Probably, I would say. Although, well,
Maybe not the price.
maybe exactly that's the
Maybe not the price, but just the fact that it existed and just having all this media over the last few months,
Well,
basically confirming it.
when was E3? E3 was meant to be like early July, wasn't it? Or June? June?
Late June, early
Like-
June.
2 to 3 months ago?
Well, that's like
it's
3.
Queen's birthday. It's always Queen's birthday.
Why would they have
for
waited?
us.
Why would they have waited this long on something they would have announced at E3? I don't think they would have announced it at E3.
Early June. Monday the 8th of June is typically when the E3 show for Xbox goes on.
Yeah.
I would say
Fast.
to build hype, like there's already been one announcement of one console, just to have that hype closer to a release date. We're like 2 months off now.
yeah.
PlayStation
Well,
haven't announced their pricing either.
Exactly, that's the
So,
thing, right? It's still they're still playing chicken.
So I mean, the thing is that
And-
Xbox releasing their smaller unit at a smaller price
Earlier.
point earlier probably puts PlayStation under a fair bit of pressure now because they're trying to market their discless version as the cheap entry point unit, but they're not going to be able to get to $299 with that.
No way. Yeah.
You know, it's just not.
Do you think they undercut to... Assuming the Series X is 500, do they undercut to their disc version to 400 with 375, 350 for the discless?
If it's
No.
$370, if it was $25 difference, are you really going to go for the discless version? I mean, they just wouldn't sell. It's like you'd go that extra mile. The price difference has to be significant to make it compelling. Otherwise, people are just going to get the better one.
So 350, 400. Do they undercut to that point?
No way. There's no way they can afford to. I mean, looking like they just recently came out with a report that apparently PlayStation is basically the most profitable part of Sony currently.
Sony, yeah.
It's been like that for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So outside of all the other stuff that
Their
they do.
TV panels go into a lot of other
Yes,
companies,
yeah,
though.
Exactly. Yeah. So to go from because they do make money on the PlayStation 4, to go to that to making such a huge loss on the PlayStation 5, because like you said that well, as far as we know, the only difference between the two is the disk drive. They're not going to be reducing the specs like they have done with the Series S.
I'm pretty sure that they announced that they aren't different other than the
Exactly.
drive. So
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they would have to make a big loss on that if they wanted to undercut it.
So, and how much is a drive, realistically? Like
mean,
if you're
For them,
if
UHD
you're
Blu-ray drive that they're producing
yeah,
themselves.
exactly.
Yeah,
If you,
but
and
they
and
also
they
have to.
and they buy it in bulk, and they've got manufacturing set up to just churn them out. The only difference that they'd have there is a plug on the board inside, which they probably is already there, even in the diskless
they
version,
just don't use
and a slight difference to the case. It's like, So cost difference for them is very little. They need to, I'm just not sure it's like.
So what
compelling,
you're saying is
anyway.
I can buy a cheap Blu-ray drive, angle grind a hole into my PlayStation 5,
Yep.
and then just attach a cable.
Yeah, just get
and then
get
boom.
soldering iron out.
I would not be surprised if the internals of it are exactly the same. You could take the case off and plug a drive into it, and it would just work. That I would be terribly surprised if that wasn't the case. Although Sony, I don't know if they've changed this, but back in the PlayStation 1 and 2 era, they'd flash their disk drives with specialized firmware, and it was actually quite difficult to get around that sort of stuff. Even the Xbox 360 did this as well. Just putting on my reverse engineering hat when I had to go and basically break into Guitar Hero to get all the files out to build a bot. That's another story. There's a fair bit of work in there. Like on Xbox 360s, you can't generally just open one and swap a drive from another one into your one, unless it's exactly the same model. So like the same motherboard range, and so Anyway, they have protections on it. It wouldn't surprise me if Sony did that, so you couldn't just go and plug in any arbitrary one.
And apparently they're quite difficult to clone. To clone onto another drive, all the OS and everything.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Conversely,
someone
the
was trying to do
Xbox One is not. I watched somebody do a repair on an Xbox One. I think it was just a base Xbox One. The hard drive had failed. Got a brand new, just generic consumer hard drive. Put that in there. Got the USB recovery stick with the OS on it. Put that in. Recovered it. Rebuilt the entire thing running.
Oh.
Wow.
Didn't need to do it. So you can literally put any consumer drive in there, and you can actually upgrade your Xbox One with a SSD if you wanted to. Which is
So I can do one external, but
you can do it.
Stuff I was looking at when someone was trying to do comparisons were trying to clone it and were having troubles.
Yeah.
Didn't end up doing it.
You might not be able to clone it, but you can certainly start fresh. So you can put a blank one in there and tell it to reformat it, and it will work perfectly well. I don't know that cloning it is... Yeah. So if you're happy to lose everything you've got on there, it's perfectly fine.
That's right, I'll lose nothing at all.
And also, just to get us back on track to the UFC stuff, that UFC game sucks anyway. So, like, that's the other, just a cherry on top, is that they didn't even make a good game to shove the ads into. So, the reviews came back, the game sucks.
I always liked the UFC games because they were kind of like wrestling but different.
Sure.
Wrestling games
But they were never good.
They all suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright then. Fine. We will move on to what we've been playing. I will go first because I've got a relatively short list. So this month, because I am in a little bit of a challenge with someone to get the most Gamerscore in Game Pass games, that's primarily what I've been playing. So I've done the chapter select stuff in Vanbrace, Cold Vanbrace, Soul, whatever that game is. I got 630 Gamerscore in that. I did the first 2 episodes of Tell Me Why. I won't go into it because it's completely spoiler territory. I will say, and everyone who has listened to the podcast before I think it's possibly the best game that Don't Not have done. I think it's better than how good other people think Life is Strange is. Like, obviously, I think it's better than Life is Strange because I didn't like it. I think it's better than what other people's opinions of Life is Strange is.
Fair enough. So it's probably, in that case, it sounds like it's better than Life is Strange 2, for example, which I really didn't gel with. But love Life is Strange.
It's obviously still the same sort of structure, the narrative plot with some kind of supernatural-ish tinge on it.
Spoilers,
Yeah. So the exact same thing they did with Life is Strange Before the Storm and Life is Strange 2, but like that same sort of format. But I think the characters are much more relatable, and it could be because they are older and not teenagers. Because I always felt, and I sort of realised that when I was briefly talking to Cameron about it, is that with Life is Strange, it felt like the dialogue was trying too hard to be young and talking like how the kids talk.
Yeah. Hello there, fellow kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do know what you mean. It did feel a little bit forced, and I mean,
yeah,
I'm definitely not a kid. Most of it was fine. There were a few moments that were a bit like cringe.
But if you explored, there was a lot of. I explored the first time I played. There was a lot of dialogue that was just like it. I didn't enjoy it. It was just
cheesy.
I'm not going to say much more. Like it was it was cheesy and it was cringy and But this feels a lot more relatable. I feel like the story is also more compelling because it's shorter because it's only 3 episodes. It's not so drawn out and the narrative that they're going for doesn't feel like it's being forced to be stretched over.
Not overstaying its
episodes.
welcome. I think it's there.
Yeah. So I feel like the story beats and the pacing is well done as well. Like, yes, you can go and explore and stuff, but there's not so much to explore that you forget what you're doing and you can't get back into the story. And it's not like, oh, we're going somewhere, let me just explore for 20 minutes and then we can go and do the thing. It's sort of, it feels like that would happen if you were trying to do the thing. Like everything feels like it's gelled well, and
so it sounds like it's a much more refined experience than say Life is Strange 2. I found pretty unrefined in that sense.
I feel like you found your target and you're just hammering away at it with a nail. And it would make sense given it's the third game of this style that they've done, that they would have that down pat a little more and have it more seamless. But I'm really enjoying it. And honestly, even if episode 3 doesn't have achievements, because we've already got 1,000 Gamerscore out of it, I'm sure they've probably said it does, I'll probably play it because it's only going to be an hour or two, and I'm drawn in. And I'm not usually drawn in on narrative games. Like,
yeah, are you feeling okay?
Yeah, like I was like, I'm just going to play this for Gamescore. I'm just going to follow, like, and Mac has got good guides where it doesn't spoil anything at all. Tells you, where you are in the story. It's that you are at this location and you're trying to do this, and like it doesn't give away anything really, or at least I didn't feel like what it was giving away was so far in advance that I was ruining everything in between that. So that walkthrough is good because it doesn't spoil any story beats or anything, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I have the 1,000 Gamerscore in it currently, and I'll probably play episode 3. Moving on, The Tourist. It was good. I don't think it was again, playing through Game Pass, I don't know what it costs normally. I'd probably pay $15 for that experience.
I think when I bought it on Switch, and I think it was about 20. If I recall
20 I think is maybe a little. But also I used a walkthrough, so I knew all the not the puzzles, but the all of the to-do list, how to do the things.
Yeah. So I played it when I played it on Switch. I just played it fresh without any guides at all until I really got stuck on a couple of things. I just did everything and explored, and it was well worth the time.
For a blind, I could see $20 being good. I'm only half blind, so $15 is what
$29.95.
What?
$29.95.
Oh well.
Well, it's Xbox inflation. That happened. No, I think it's a good. It's again bite-sized. The camera's a little wonky. The depth of some of the jumps is a little wonky, but you get used to it.
I think there was only really one particularly difficult jumping section. Yeah, the orb thing. That was the only one that kind of was like, I'm about to throw my controller because it's so annoying. But everything else,
funnily enough, had more trouble not in the final puzzle. Like the final puzzle took me 2 goes because the first go I stuffed up where I needed to be for the final orb, and once I saw it, I was like, okay, yep. The other earlier ones, I had no clue what. Like I knew what I was trying to do, but I had no idea how I was supposed to execute, and I got stuck there. Minecart physics.
Yeah, that's just silly.
I jumped out of it, and it was like shaking, and then it just like launched itself at me and took me out. Also, I missed 1 diamond, and I'm really cut up about it. They weren't necessary for achievements or anything. I just wanted all of them. But yeah, that was pretty good. Got the completion. Yeah, I was playing.
Thanks, plane. Do that flying thing, yo.
Why are you? Where are you coming from? No one's allowed to go anywhere.
Simulator off. I just wanted to see what Kirby's house looked like.
He was on his way to Antarctica, but he went the wrong way.
Yeah, from Melbourne. Yeah, that was my bad, guys. That's just apparently that's a thing here in Darwin because we can.
You're about the only place in the country that can actually fly anywhere, right?
Yeah. We got a bunch of people from Vanuatu the other week to pick mangoes. Not even kidding. It's mango season coming up. We got about 160 people fly over to work. Because otherwise they will drop off the trees and it actually damages the environment pretty bad when they go overripe and acidic and just melt the ground. So, yeah, probably a good idea that they came. And then finally, we'll transition into what Matt's been playing because I played this with him. And this is another good reason to advocate for Game Pass. Now this...
Was it Life is Strange 2?
The prequel to this was Games with Gold initially, but we tried it out because of that, and because it was so good, we got the sequel. So we were here together. Matt and I played over 2 days. I think we did 1 playthrough one night and then the cleanup the next night. So again, if a game is in Game Pass, I know I'm certainly more inclined to go, I liked this game, I liked this developer, I am more interested in purchasing other things that they bring out. That's an example of what could work with Game Pass. But We Were Here Together, which I think Matt and I would say, without any question of a doubt, is the best of the We Were Here games.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they've taken everything they've learned from the last two and just sort of really refined it really, really well.
Yeah. And like all the communication works well, and everything is designed in a way where the puzzles themselves aren't super difficult, but if you don't communicate properly, you will struggle.
Yep.
There was a section with pipes where we weren't communicating properly, and we didn't quite I didn't quite understand the puzzle because I couldn't see the other half, and I'm sure Matt knew exactly what was going on and what he was expecting sort of me to see, but I didn't know if I was seeing everything, because the room that essentially I was in had, I think, three puzzles, the next three puzzles, so I didn't know if the section I was looking at was all there was for this puzzle, or whether I needed to. So Matt knew what he was doing for the most part, but I was like, I don't know if, is this it? Do I need to go somewhere else and get something? Or I have these beers, do you want me to drink them? I'm drinking the beers. Now my controls are all backwards. I should not have drunk the beers, Matt, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a riot, for sure.
Only Victoria.
It's a really good game. Man, I just wish some of the pictures had colours, so I wasn't going, Matt, the carrot. It's the carrot. Just pick the carrot, the one that looks like a carrot. And then Matt goes, oh, you mean the white thing that looks kind of like a carrot, but it's white? I'm like, I don't know, I don't have colours.
And then, then he's like, oh, wait, he's like, yeah, I just had pictures in a book. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, they're just like sketches. I'm like, oh, so I'm looking at like pictures with colours. But what they've done is that they've intentionally made the colours slightly different to what they would look like in real life. So as I'm describing what the thing looks like, he's like, oh, it's, it looks like a radish.
It's a turnip. I probably should have said turnip. So, in Super Mario 2 that wasn't actually Super Mario, the turnips that are kind of pink on the top and white on the bottom or whatever, that's what I was looking at and that's what I was describing. But obviously it's a completely different colour scheme for Matt because it's not that colour scheme. It's not a normal object or an item.
Yeah.
And Matt's telling me, is it the toads? Is it the mushroom with like red on top and white underneath? I say, Matt, I don't know. Why would I know that? Why is that a thing I know?
So we did some alchemy. That was towards the end of the game. That was probably my favourite puzzle, though. Actually, it was.
It really was. That was a fantastic puzzle.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, basically the We Were Here series are you have to play them in co-op, and they're limited communication. You can't be in a party. And so each person is given a walkie-talkie, and you have to essentially solve puzzles together, where you see both of you see separate things, and you have to tell the other person what you see to help solve the puzzle. And so you start describing things, but of course the game knows that, hey, for example, this thing looks like a carrot, and so there were two things on my side that looked like they were orange, and they looked like kind of carrots with faces on them. But if I was describing, if you're looking at them, you're like, oh yeah, that looks like a carrot. But if you were just looking at a sketch of them, it just looks like a sort of, a man with like a weird leaf on the head.
It was one of them was like had an onion body with roots for arms and legs. So I said it's kind of like an onion with arms and legs.
Yeah, but it's orange,
which obviously is bad on my end as well. But
yeah, so there's quite a few puzzles, and so like I said, they've taken the what they've learned in the previous games and really just upped it and just realized, okay, these puzzles are good. These puzzles aren't very good. And, we didn't have to use any guides for it. We figured out most of the stuff pretty easily.
There was only... the only issue we had is because Matt's colorblind, he needed a little bit of help just seeing or telling what colors were what. And but that's not any fault of the game.
Yeah. And
perhaps it could have a colorblind mode somehow, but... Yeah,
thankfully, at least with the pipes puzzle, when you hovered over the thing, it would tell you what color was going through it, so that did help, but it was slightly difficult for me. But, I had a great time going through it, and they've simplified the achievement system, so there aren't any, secret collectibles or do this puzzle without dying or anything like that. It's just get through the puzzle on as one side and then play it again as the other side. And it's really fun to go back through it and see the other side of the puzzle and realize what Chin was trying to describe to me as this is what he sees. I'm like, oh, okay, this all makes sense.
Yeah, I walked into the room with just pipes. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what puzzle this is. Yeah. No, but it again, fantastic, and I would 100% buy full priced a sequel if they brought out another.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
I think they have a pack of the 3 of them available for purchase. I don't think it's ever gone on sale, but honestly, like, they're pretty cheap. I would just go and buy all 3 of them if you don't already own some of them.
I guess
the fantastic
problem for me is finding someone to play them with. Lol, 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 lol.
The first game you'll probably need to find an external party system to use, because a couple times we played, the walkie-talkies didn't function very well. They died halfway through, where they just didn't work.
Yeah.
Second and third, there's a little light on them that indicates when the other person's talking, and they didn't break the entire time, so that's perfectly fine to do in-game. But just for the first, I would find an external non-Xbox party, because it won't let you do that.
What is
communication system?
What do they achieve by limiting you to the walkie-talkie versus a party?
Well, only one person can talk at a time. So, for example, if you're talking and then you press the button to talk, you won't be able. Nothing will come back through it. So the idea is you have to actually listen to what they're saying and take turns and actually think about things and not rush.
And some of the things are time sensitive. So,
yes.
Like there was a puzzle where Matt went into a well, turned on some water, and it was filling up with water, and I had to solve a puzzle, and so it's time sensitive, where if I don't get it done in time, obviously Matt's going to die, and so it's that they've created that tension and drama where you've got to take turns and calmly go through this, but this water's filling up and I'm going to die, so I'm getting a little bit panicky, and I'm getting panicked on the other end, going, I know exactly what I'm trying to do, but I don't know how to do it, because Matt's like telling me Saturn. I'm like, I don't see any Saturn, Matt. I'm really sorry. I'm looking everywhere. I don't see Saturn. I see these ladders, and I know I'm doing something with the ladders, but I don't know where Saturn is.
Yeah.
I don't.
The best thing, though, is like when you finally, like, you've been bashing your head against it, and then suddenly, like, in that, I won't give away the solution to that puzzle, but I happened to look in a different area, and I smacked myself in the head, and I was like, of course that's the answer. Like, and so as soon as I described it that way, worked perfectly, got it first try.
Yeah. As soon as you know what information you need and can convey that, it's the puzzles work great. But I got 4,920 game score this week, and in the Game Pass Challenge, I'm at 3,800. And my opponent is at 1,100. They've done New Super Lucky's Tale, completion, and 100 points in Battletoads.
Oh yeah, Battletoads. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I need to put up lots of points before this weekend, because I'm going away this weekend for my father's 60th.
You're going to be in Catherine.
I'm not going to explain where, because I'm going to Catherine. We're going to go canoeing in Catherine Gorge. This is a real place, and it's not a euphemism.
You people who can, like, leave the house.
I know, right? You remember those days, Tarragon?
Yeah,
I'm going to go see the sun, and I don't want to.
3 years ago, like, last month.
4 and...
No, 4,000 score.
Oh, sorry, yes. Sorry, 4,000.
Yeah. But, Tish.
Yes. Thank you. All right.
Oh, no, Rocket League is leaving Game Pass.
What?
The news story just came out.
And they're becoming free to play.
Yeah, it's going free to play, so that's why.
Yeah,
but it's leaving Game Pass, Matt. People won't see it when they go into the Game Pass section on their Xbox and get tricked into playing it.
Yeah, no. Well, that's a shame. I mean, to be fair, you're really my only other competition, so as long as you keep playing it instead of putting up points, then we'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, what have I been playing this week? Actually, quite a bit. It's been a very busy week for me. So, as I've been talking about for the last few weeks, I have been on cleanup duty with my backlog stuff of non-backwards compatible games on the 360. So, we were here together, as we talked about, but in terms of non-backwards compatible stuff, I finished up Penny Arcade Adventures Episode 1. Like I talked about the other week, that game's got a lot of swearing in it. Like a lot. the Death Spank guys obviously felt that they could just say whatever they wanted, and Penny Arcade gave them free reign to just. Yeah, there's a lot of F-bombs in that game. It's pretty hilarious. The whole fruit thing is it's a real shame that they basically got cancelled. I mean, they did revive it for episodes 3 and 4, but the game was good. Doing the final boss without any of my characters dying and without using a single healing item was pretty tricky. The game itself is actually relatively challenging, although once you kind of get the active time battle stuff and getting your blocks and counterattacks, it kind of it becomes pretty easy. The only thing is that there are limited enemies in the game, so if you mess up your level grinding, you can get kind of screwed out. Every time you upgrade your weapons, if you use a special ability to kill an enemy, you get a +1 to your damage, and so you get 5 of those per level upgrade, so you can have a total of 15. But if you wipe out all the enemies without doing that, then you get to the final boss and you're at a bit of a disadvantage. Not a major one, but it's one of those things that you kind of notice. Thankfully, on the last group of enemies, I managed to max out all my characters. Good game, but it's definitely showing its age, and it's not very. There's not a lot to it. It's kind of quite repetitive. There's only like 2 or 3 environments. You can tell they kind of made it on a budget, and I remember it was a bit of controversy when it first came out because it was the first arcade game that was like 1,600 points to buy, which is like $20, I think. Which people were up in arms about that because they're like, oh, just because it's Penny Arcade, they got to charge extra for it, etc. Because the highest I'd ever seen was $1,200, $15. But so that's off the tag. Oh, sorry, off the backlogs. That's done. I figured I'd just roll right into it and do Penny Arcade Adventures Episode 2. Thankfully, this one has an easy mode where you can just basically steamroll over all the enemies. Again, more swearing. You fight a giant fruit fornicating robot. That you go to the 1912 World Fair, and instead of a giant globe, it's basically all fruit. So there's a giant orange, and that goes about as you would expect. You have to fight a certain protruding element of the robot. It's more of the same. A lot of your stuff carries over, like your levels and skills. Instead of a rake, you get a hoe, and then when you upgrade it, the upgrade for the hoe is just they put another hoe on the other end of it, so it's like you're like Darth Maul or something. It's
what's better than one hoe?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Twin hoes.
Okay.
So like Twin Peaks, or
similar. Yeah, very similar. Sorry, I can't even give a straight face through that. It's ridiculous. What was I saying? Oh, that completely threw me off.
Are they in different area codes?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's quite wide. Yes. Game was hilarious. It has a lot of eldritch horror stuff into it. The whole idea is that there are four gods left, where there used to be 8, and there's this whole prophecy where you kill the mime god and you kill this other god, and now there's 2 left. And and I picked up an item. It's like, use this in episode 3. Crickets. Really unfortunate, but it was a pretty good game, and playing it through on easy, they made the achievements a lot easier for the second episode, and I had a great time playing through it, and the dialogue is hilarious as always. I kind of wish they'd done more voice stuff, but I guess it's based on a comic strip, so it doesn't really matter. All that's written anyway.
I wonder what the memory limits were back then. They might have been constrained.
Yeah, I definitely imagine they were. Because these are pretty short experiences as well. So I imagine, their plan was to do 4 episodes. So. Hothead Studios still exists as well, I think. I don't know. I wonder what they're doing these days. I also have been playing Dead Island Riptide for the 360. Shout out to one Mad Mike for trudging through that sludge again. Man, that game is bad.
You going to do the Japanese
version? The problem is that I had to find someone else with the Japanese version to do it. I just don't know if I can stomach it a third time.
Alex.
No. Alex. Oh, actually, sure. Alex does have a lot of time to play video games right now, so maybe... Yeah, maybe he'd be keen for that. It's a bad game.
I know he wants to complete the entire Dead Island series,
Yeah,
so
he's
yeah,
a madman.
he would have time for it.
All right, Cameron, Kirby, Dead Island Riptide's a bad game, right? Like, unequivocally?
It is not a good game.
Okay, sure.
There are many flaws. I don't know that I would call it bad, because bad to me is a next level. There is nothing positive about it.
It's a dull experience.
Yeah.
Here's a random thing. How would you compare it to Mass Effect Andromeda?
Oh, boy.
I have not played enough of Andromeda to comment. I did like the first 10 minutes to the first achievement, though.
Yeah, Andromeda, at least, I like the universe more. There aren't any zombies. I mean, there are husks, but it's a little different.
Yeah. So, I guess I'm one of the minority who didn't actually think it was that bad. It wasn't...
Andromeda or Riptide?
Andromeda,
yeah. I haven't played much of it, to be honest. I've got it sitting here.
I have no problems with Andromeda. I have many problems with the other one.
Yeah, so I figured, it's been sitting on the tag for a long time. Mike needed to do it, so we've been trudging through that. We've got most of the, do 100 of charge kills and 100 kicks and all that sort of stuff done. It's basically...
Tag kills.
Yeah, all the tags. So now it's kind of just working through the story, getting some decent weapons. And of course, because I don't have my character, I'm going to have to do a big grind at the end to get to level 70. But it is what it is. The game is actually a little better when you start it at the level that they recommended, rather than the carrying over a level 50 character. Because because the enemies are actually scaled to the weapons they give you. So you don't die every 2 seconds. You die every 5 seconds. So it's slightly better.
Yeah. Okay.
But we got there. We basically just got to the part where we're about to go into the sewers, so we're probably about the halfway mark or so.
Spoilers, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
A sewer level in a game?
Zombies?
What is this? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yes, I think there is a reference to that in there.
Hero Turtles.
Yeah.
What
Please, we have international audience.
How far into it are you, and what level are you currently?
He just told you how far he is.
I'm just at the bit where you put the pump to drain the sewers to go down there. So I'm just doing the defense mission there.
Is that where you get on the walkie-talkie and talk to Kirby and talk about Saturn? Cool. I was just checking.
To be fair,
Saturn's in the third quadrant.
You have to tell him not to throw the shock knives everywhere, and he just does it anyway.
I'm sorry. It's so strange that the shock knives hurt yourself when you miss, but hurt everyone, including you, when you hit your target.
Yeah.
Like, that makes no sense.
No, exactly.
It makes no sense, A, that it doesn't hurt everyone when you miss as well.
Yes.
But also, it shouldn't hurt everyone. Yeah. Period.
Realism.
I made sure not to tell Mike where the mod was.
Realism in my zombie game.
They're not even like real zombies.
That was my favourite thing, was to whisper to you and Cameron, "Get back," while Brad attacks a zombie and I throw a shock knife at it.
To be fair, Mike, I did make the mistake of telling Mike about your shenanigans with the propane tanks. So now every time I turn around, I might just get blown up. So some things never change. But that game is, but we'll get there. But it's been on the table.
She'll wait for a golden opportunity.
Yeah, and she has. Yeah. What else is there? I also played. I've also today played some Grand Theft Auto 4 with one Mad Rocketansky. We're doing the co-op missions for that. So we did 2 of them the other night, and we actually did really well. And then we tried doing the Deal Breaker, which is very much like its namesake in that I think Mad almost snapped his controller in half trying to do it. He was having a hard time. To be fair, his headset was not working out, so we were having some trouble communicating. But oh boy, were we having some trouble with that. It was okay. We first couple tries we crashed the helicopter. Second couple times we fell off the platform that we were trying to clear out of bikers. Another time, we finally got the setup that we needed, but we forgot the rocket launcher. And then finally the last one, I was like, look, can you just put me on the bottom floor? I'll work my way up. You work your way down. Get in the helicopter. And it worked perfectly. And we nailed it with 14 seconds to spare. So I'm pretty sure that was all me. Which I'm sure I'll hear about in the comments as soon as this goes live. The game plays terribly now. It's really not aged well. But it was the last achievement I needed for the base completion. And I had started it back in 2008 or whenever it came out. So that's 12 years in the making.
So it's in the running for one of your longest start to finish
Yep.
games there.
It'll be up there. Yeah, I still have to do the DLC for the Ballad of Gay Tony stuff to get 100%, but I'll work on some of that now. Now that the multiplayer's done, that was kind of my main concern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's relatively smooth sailing from here.
Yeah. We also played some Strange Brigade last night. Was that last night? Yeah.
Monday
night, rather.
Monday night.
Yes, that's a fun game. I don't know if it's a good game because like mechanically that game is kind of a mess, and you could tell that they definitely focus on games where you snipe things rather than games where you use any kind of other weapon that you need to aim at something. Because the actual like aiming mechanics in the game are terrible. But I'm having a laugh.
We were complaining so much.
Is that game on PC?
I think it's Play Anywhere, right?
Yeah, because if it's
no, I don't know. But we feel like we agree that it's probably a PC made and imported to Xbox with no consideration.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because we were like, man, this would be great if we had aim assist. I looked in the settings. Oh, we do, and it's on.
Yep. So I've just taken to using a Tommy gun and just blasting enemies as much as I can because we had some trouble with a couple of Minotaurs.
Yeah,
Megatars. No, Cameron. Well, maybe
not a big tour, just a minor tour.
Yeah, just a minor tour. Yeah.
Actually, two.
Yes, two of them. Yeah, it was hard. We're like, oh, hey, I got this one, and then suddenly from behind you just get rammed.
So it wasn't a Unitor.
No. It was a duo tour.
Or a Bytor. Anyway.
I mean, look, it's not the first time I've had to deal with a couple of horny guys trying to get me from behind, but definitely, I definitely didn't expect to have all four of us go down on that one.
No. So we are doing the glitch where you play the whole level on easy until the final checkpoint, and then you put it on the highest difficulty so that you can get the achievement for getting them all. But there's just the dodge roll is maybe half a second too short. Your iframes for it at least.
Yeah. Like it's got really good distance. Like you can get far when you do that roll, but like you get messed up if you do it wrong.
And the turning circle for the Minotaur during the charge, like when it's walking or even sort of moving quickly, turning circle is fine. When it's charging full pace and it turns on a dime through like 180 degrees, just rotates on the spot during a charge and gets you, it's like what?
It's super hilarious to see when I was standing on the top balcony part and there's a stairway up. He charged at the stairs. I wasn't standing on top of the stairs. I was standing to the side of it, and he Tokyo drifted around that corner and just pegged me right in the face and just killed me immediately. And I was like, "How did that even happen?" Like, I wish I'd recorded it because it was ridiculous. That's the first time we've really had trouble with the game so far, and it's on the 3rd level. So we've got like another five levels to go, I think.
And I'm certain that's not the only ones they'll throw at us.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a few more. So, but we have been, moving through it at a decent pace, getting all the collectibles, and having a pretty good time. Leaving Brad out to dry every chance we get, just letting him just get mobbed, and occasionally reviving him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on a timer, guys. That's nice. I'm busy making sure my shoelaces get tied up.
Oh, look, hey, there's a chest. Hey, Brad, can you open this chest so I can grab what's inside?
Okay, no. To be fair, what happened was I opened a chest and he grabbed the thing. So then I was like, okay, we'll swap for the next one. And then someone else opened the chest and he grabbed the thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, Brad.
That's not how sharing
something
works.
like that where I'd screwed him over, or he screwed me over, and we were gonna rotate, but then he just didn't.
Yeah, no, he was like, nah, I'm good.
Pretty much it.
Yeah, so we need to play some more of that. I've also got pulled into playing some Secret Neighbor, Game Pass game, which is the second.
Yeah, Game Pass game. I'd love to jump on that.
Yeah,
if you could set up a session where I could get to it.
Yeah. The problem is that game is buggy. It is not very well designed, but the whole idea is that you start as a group of 6 kids sneaking into a house. Each you can choose like a class, and they each have slightly different abilities. And you have to go through, and you're like, okay, we need to sneak in. We're stuck in this house. We need to escape, and the only way out is through the basement. And the basement has 6 locks on it, and have keys of different colors. So you need to go around the house trying to find the keys in various rooms. The twist is that one of the kids that you're playing as is actually the guy who owns the house, the neighbor. And when you wander off from the crew and you go, hey, I'm going to go look in this room and look through the drawers here, and you go, oh yeah, no, I'll come with you and help you, and then you turn into the neighbor and kill them. And then you wander out and you're like, oh, I don't know, like he went missing, like the neighbor must have got him, because you can change back and forth.
Between the scary old man and the prepubescent child.
Yeah, it does sound a little problematic when you describe it like that, especially considering he just grabs them and the kids go missing.
But it's fairly asymmetric multiplayer type game.
Yeah, pretty standard.
Fairly standard, sorry.
The problem is that the achievements are very, very buggy. There was one achievement, when you get grabbed, if one of the other people throws something at the neighbor, they'll drop you. There's an achievement for escaping 5 times. We did that a few times, because we did it with a group. So we had like 4 or 5 of us trying to get into a lobby. It's only matchmaking, so it's basically random on who you get. And there are quite a few people playing it, because it is free on Game Pass. So we tried that achievement, didn't work. So we're like, we'll just move on. I did a match where I won as the neighbor to get one of the achievements, which is winning. After they've unlocked the door, you manage to kill everyone before they escape.
Yeah, which is very hard to do.
Very hard to do, because
they literally unlock the door and it basically immediately opens and they get out straight away.
The only real way to do it naturally would be if there's like 1 or 2 people left and you just happen to catch them. So I happened to we sort of planned that achievement out. Got the achievement for that one, and it also unlocked the other one for getting saved 5 times. Totally was playing as the person grabbing people, not the person being saved. But yeah, whatever. So I started it that night, and I've got all the achievements except for 2. One of them is go through an entire match without seeing the neighbor once, and the other one is go through as the neighbor and win without changing into the neighbor once. So we've tried those both a bunch of times, and they just have not been unlocking. So yeah, we're gonna have to try and spend some time and just bash our heads against it until we unlock it, hopefully. Because the requirements seem pretty easy. I mean, well, easy. They're pretty understandable. Like
easy to understand.
Yeah, there's not a lot of ambiguity there, but it is what it is. I also played some Borderlands, the pre-sequel, for the Xbox 360. Yeah, that game's just kind of funny, I guess. The Borderlands humor, is kind of hit or miss with me. I like some of the stuff, but now, that you can tell that the Australian writing team was doing this, because none of it's funny.
Hey.
No, actually, there is some funny stuff.
Hey, I take some issue with that.
It's okay. They're close up shop.
Yeah, crikey. I'm having a decent time with it, but it is more of this, get a slightly better gun, shoot man in face, continue on, shoot more men in face, listen to Joe.
That's Borderlands 2 you're thinking of.
Shooting.
Yeah, this is Spaceman.
Sorry, yes. I'm playing as Claptrap because there's an achievement for using all of his abilities. But I've got a relatively leveled up character because I was playing with someone before. So now as I start through the story, I'm just steamrolling everything. Yeah, I'll work on it, because it's on my tag and I need to do it, but I'm not super looking forward to it, and I don't know if I'm going to go redo it on the Handsome Collection, because it just doesn't, not super appealing.
Is this the one you made me start?
There was the one we were going to start, but I don't think we ever did.
Okay.
Because I think you've already started it.
I just remember you asking me to do it.
We were going to do it, but we just haven't got around to it yet, so I got tired.
And then I tried to kill you.
Both.
That's right, yes, that is it, yes. You tried to kill me, and I just slapped you once and you died. That's right, yes, that's exactly what happened. Also played some, just to wrap up, I also played Riptide GP Renegade. More boat racing. It's fine. I've got, a few races.
Good game.
All I've got left to do is, get first on the rest of the races, but I'm really bad at it, so I'll kind of work on that. I mean, I know everyone says it's easy and I'm a scrub, but that's racing for you.
Is that trying to get to the top of the sports water racing leaderboard? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Simulation water racing. Hydro Thunder! And then one thing I picked up for fun, Resident Evil 3. I'm renting a copy of that for this week. The remake, I should say, on the Xbox One. I'm having a really good time with it. It's a great game. It's short. The achievements are relatively easy. I unlocked an infinite rocket launcher and I just blast Nemesis in the face like a bunch of times and he dies. Like, it has everything I was asking for in a game. The collectibles, and like they give you out achievements. I've only got like 3 achievements left. I'll probably get it done. Like, I've got maybe 2 more runs to do of it. But yeah, like, I'm actually having a surprisingly good time with it, considering I never really played the PlayStation version back in, '99. So yeah, I might go back to Resident Evil 2 actually, considering, because I know it was built on the same engine. Although apparently that one's quite a bit more difficult. But yeah, anyway, with all that wrapped up, I'm at 4,155 this week.
Nice.
Alright, Mamrin.
Sorry, who?
Mamrin. I know what I said. ...
Hey, Macarena.
Bush boy.
Let's go.
Alright, I'm just waiting. Yeah, so tell me why. I think Kirby's pretty much covered it. Started playing through a little bit of Chapter 1, about halfway. Strange Brigade, pretty much Matt's covered that. Brad sucks. Pretty much all that needs to be said.
Whoa, man, come on. Don't be so mean to Brad, man. Come on.
Oh, what? You two can be and I can't?
What are you talking about? I'm always...
He's trying his best.
I'm always fair and balanced when it comes to my assessment of Brad and his skill, his varying level of skill when it comes to video games.
Yeah, so there's nothing...
And my job is to
let
let him know when he's being not appropriate in PC in the chat and telling him to stop. And that things don't fly. That's not okay.
No, some things you say you just can't... No, it's not appropriate. And it keeps he keeps saying them on different parts of the internet as well.
Yeah. Under different names.
I'll just keep on kicking him from parties then. It'll be fun. So yeah, Strange Brigade. Finished off Redeemer. So I only had the 2 achievements left to go. One was for no deaths on all the chapters. I went to the harder levels, the very end levels, and worked my way back. For whatever reason, Chapter 16, the final level, I completed 3 times, with it not counting the first 2 times and crashing my entire console both times. Third time, same thing happened, but it saved 0 deaths. Don't know how, but managed to go back in, get that cleaned up, and then do Chapter 9 without being grabbed by... It's like big... what are they in Left 4 Dead 2? Like Herkers? Or
Charges.
Yeah,
Tanks.
whatever the big guys are. Yeah. Basically, big guys grab you, just throw you across the room. There's an achievement for... there's an achievement for not getting grabbed by him throughout the whole level, which is quite difficult. Took me like 2 or 3 tries. I just kept on running around in circles, as I did. So cleared that off. Forza Motorsport 6 started, I think, Monday night after we did Strange Brigade, and I'm actually finding myself enjoying it. I'm so disappointed that my shifter doesn't fit in correctly onto my racing rig. Otherwise, I'd probably be using my my steering setup a bit more. Like, it is so frustrating. The shifter, the holes for it are like 3 centimeters off.
Alright, get the drill out.
I went to do that last night, but my drill set's gone missing, so... Yeah, exactly. But I'm quite enjoying it. Started playing some of the NASCAR yesterday. I mean, just...
Go left.
You drive around in circles, yeah.
Ellipses. No, elliptical. An elliptical track. It's not a circle. It's not the other thing.
What was the other thing? Yeah, no, I distinctly remember you describing it as a few different things yesterday.
I'm not, no.
Saying that, there's quite a few easy rare achievements in Forza 6. Just stuff like sharing a tune and that. And I'm pretty sure just recently they fixed the Xbox One achievements, because some of them were unlocking on Windows 10, but I might be thinking of 7.
No, I think Windows 6. Sorry, Windows. Forza 6. I think they did.
Was the one that got fixed. Okay. And the game that I spent the most on this week was Air Mech Arena.
That's good to know, buddy. Tarragon, what have you been playing? I think
Fine,
we've all heard enough
Just
about
ignore
Air Mech.
all the new people that joined the Discord. That's fine. So I carried after.
Oh yeah, no. You're like I already promised Aftos that I weren't gonna let you slander his good name on the show.
All right. So at the start of the week, or when we came to the realization that this was my tag, with 5 days to go, I was level 11.
What level did you need to be, Cameron?
Level 30.
Yeah. Thanks, Cameron. You said that as if everyone already knew. Roughly how long does it take per level?
Alright, so for the most part, there was just one achievement that I probably spent 20 hours on, and that was to getting to level 30.
That sounds it takes roughly an hour per level if you're playing efficiently. Would that be about right?
Yes, that's a funny that you mentioned that, because
Thank
the
you
most
for that
efficient
information.
way of playing it efficiently would be with a partner. If the servers let you join with another partner.
Well, yeah, that's what the servers
If it
do,
wasn't
right? It's an
regional
online
locked.
game. You should be able to join anyone you need to.
So, Adrian and Aftos did most of the boosting with me.
That makes sense.
Except for when they didn't. And I had to make up levels, to which I tried to join Sarcastic Joker and Archie, or A9 XD.
That's a name.
Yep, to which multiple times just wouldn't work. There's some kind of regional locking. But
Where are they from?
sometimes it will work.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, they're from the US, yeah.
So you'll one's from the US and one's from Scotland. Yeah, Scotland. So I think Archie's from Scotland and Joker was from the US.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys were like, Archie got to the point where I had not slept between Friday night. Sorry, I slept for 2 hours between Friday night and Sunday morning. To which Archie was joining in the party like every 3 hours, just going, so how you going with it? Like, tell me your level. He's, he could not. He joined like one of my matches for about like 5 times, and we kept on trying it just to see if it would work again. Wasn't the case. But he added me, kept on checking up with me, just like, how you doing? All right, cool. We're going to work on this together. If you need a motivational talk, I'm here for you. Archie's a top bloke.
He gives you all the butt slaps you need, gets you right in the game.
Pretty much it. So
It's funny you should mention that, because there's a team in Rocket League called Top Blokes, and one of their players is named Archie.
Huh.
Okay.
Just
interesting fact.
little tidbit. They do quite well in Europe.
Sunday morning. Don't know what time the servers actually went down, but Sunday morning, 10:30, it was still going. 10:30 we're on home stretch. If the servers had closed down at 11, I got the last achievement at 10:57.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. But the servers are down now, right? Because they had a server closure and they announced the date, so now they're down,
Yeah,
right?
so now you can't play any more of it, so you made it.
This is the thing I don't understand. When I go on there, it still seems like there's no tracking of people playing matches, but it still seems as if they're up.
Oh, people are still playing matches on PlayStation, I'll tell you now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people are still getting the trophies. Admittedly, the system's a little broken because you can cheat on PlayStation, but we have evidence to say that it's not yet down.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So it might just be the tracker that tells people who's won a recent match then. But Archie messaged me today at work, and he's just like, I'm going to try and bribe Ubisoft to give me a private server for a week on AirMech. And I'm like, you know that's not going to work. They just did. What? No, just trolling.
Yeah.
I'm like, great. We've got another Adrian. Got another Adrian I have to deal with.
Yep.
Absolutely great.
Yep. You just collect trolls, mate.
Pretty much it. But I I don't know
Luckily
if
none
he's
of them listen
serious.
to the podcast.
I don't know if he's serious that he's going to go back and attempt 360.
If he is, he's insane.
I don't know why you would... Like, if you had started, sure, starting it now, after the date that it was supposed to go down, is just playing with fire and dousing yourself in oil.
The fact that Adrian managed to get both the 360 and the Xbox One version done in a fortnight,
Yeah, but what does Adrian? What else does Adrian do?
works at Macca's like once a fortnight, and then does some information technology.
Yeah, so
course,
it's, he's
so nothing. And
Basically Brad.
He's feeling nice.
Basically, Brad levels of work.
No, he does a little bit more than Brad. He works like 3 hours a fortnight. It's some work.
Oh, I bet if we asked Brad, he'd say that. Anyway.
Mate.
No, we shouldn't.
no, don't.
Continue.
Hey, for what he said about me in the past, I feel like it's fair game.
Oh, so Tarragon, I see you finished all of Control's DLC.
Alright. Finishing up. So, yeah, we got the completion. Glad to know the servers might still be up, and I absolutely did not have to rush it like I did. I gotta say, massive props to Stephen or Aftos though for being the main driving force of me getting it done to level 30. And I'm done. I got 940 for the week. I'm never touching an online service again until I do.
Well, until Madden in a little bit, and then whatever's next after that.
Fight Club, hit me up. I messaged you last night. Don't leave me on red.
Don't double message.
You need
man.
it
That's
too.
the first rule. Don't double message. That's
So, I know that you're like, oh, I pushed really hard to get it done and the servers aren't down, so I could have taken longer. Would it...
I don't care. We got it done.
I was going to say, you wouldn't have wanted to risk it, surely, even... that's the thing. Is it a worse feeling getting it done and having extra time, like pushing to get it done and having the extra time and being like, I didn't need to push, or just not getting it done? What's a worse feeling?
How do I view who's recently completed it?
No,
well,
answer the question.
Well, not getting it done at all would be the worst feeling, because you can never get it done. If you've pushed and pushed and pushed, and then you found finally you've got extra time, it's like, well, I didn't have to fight so hard, but at least I've got it done. It's like,
the worst feeling would have been spending my entire weekend or majority of my weekend, then having Father's Day morning just to get to 29.9 for servers to close down.
Yeah.
That would have been the worst feeling.
But for the rest of us, it would have been the best feeling.
Even I would have felt bad. That's rough.
Oh, I would have felt bad.
I was already having a bad
But then also would
that
have
was the only win I needed.
used the Tadar reaction. Party poppers.
I want to say the recent winners because I'm pretty sure us five were the last people to complete the game.
Okay, you look that up and we'll move on while we wait.
Cool. Sounds good.
so what is it? What is MX Arena?
Mega Arena.
One little,
It's like Hawkins.
one little thing about MX Arena. I don't know if you know the band Frontline Assembly. They're a long-standing electro kind of band. They did the soundtrack for MX Arena, and they released it as a separate album, and it is fantastic. Anyway, that's total aside. I've not been doing a lot this week, oddly enough. I did finish off Control, so there was the last DLC in that. It was as good as the rest of the game, and getting to the end of it, humongous hints about Alan Wake 2 coming out, or at least certainly something along those lines. But yeah, it basically said I won't spoil it, but yes, Alan Wake seems very likely now.
I'm excited.
I will say one thing: if you're playing through that particular DLC, just shoot vending machines. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just shoot. Sorry.
No. Shoot vending machines. That's good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Shoot random.
Is there? God damn. You go. You go.
Shoot random vending machines. I won't tell you any more than that. But it does. There is an achievement related to it, but it can also glitch. So yeah.
Okay. Is there enough Alan Wake that you would consider Control to be part of the Alan Wake series?
100%.
100%?
Yep.
Okay.
Like
I'll just do that
the
now.
final DLC literally has Alan Wake in it talking. And there's enough references to Alan Wake and that whole thing as being essentially an altered world event. But yeah, they kind of twisted a little bit in the final DLC too. So yeah, it's kind of it's a funny thing, and yeah, play it if you like Alan Wake, play that. You'll really like it.
Best part is that is not a event that gets logged in the changelog, so no one will know that it was me.
I mean, to be fair, there were Alan Wake references in the base game
Quantum
as well.
Break as well.
Oh yeah. There's like a couple of hidden areas and a bunch of the lore that you find references.
It has been done.
What?
Excellent.
I added it to the Alan Wake series.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So
Well, the bigger question is would Alan Wake be added to the Control series if there were a Control series? It's kind of which way around is it?
It's the Altered World events series.
Yeah.
But then does Quantum Break fit in that?
But potentially,
because there is
maybe, but
there is more than a hint of reference.
Yeah.
So Sam Lake seems to be doing double time on these things, showing up in quite a few different characters.
Yeah, but Alan Wake is definitely linked in the same universe. The question is, when you read the lore from the final DLC, is which way around does it work? And I'll leave it at that. But it's very much hang on.
Right, okay.
Read all the lore. It's quite interesting. Just for that little.
With the DLC, just a quick question before you move on. So there are 2 DLCs for this?
Yes. There's Foundation, which is sort of one area. That's basically goes into like the depths of the oldest house, and it's like the foundations of the oldest house, but it's also getting the astral world's kind of bleeding through and things are falling apart and stuff. So that's one. And the Alan Wake one is essentially it opens up a whole new floor called the Investigations area, and that's active Investigations area, and it's kind of you're basically chasing one of the villains from the Alan Wake series who was was captured due to an event, due to the Alan Wake event, was captured and stored there or contained, and it didn't go well. So they locked off the entire area, and it was up to you to go and clean it up.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I might have to check those out because I really enjoyed Control when it came out.
It's also with the assist modes now. If you were finding the game hard before, you can make it a doddle or make it as difficult as you want. There were a couple of the bosses in the base game that were really, really annoying. Like the I forget what it's called, the plant monster one.
Oh yeah.
That one was. It wasn't just frustrating because it was hard. It was frustrating because the checkpoint was
way far away.
2 minutes away from it. You die, you wait 30 seconds or so for the loading screen. It loads you back at the control point. You then travel for 2 minutes. You pass by some mold. If you don't kill those mold on the way, they will jump down into the arena whilst you're fighting, and their attacks take like 90% of your health. Yeah, so like you have to kill those things. So that's like another 30 seconds, a minute you spend just getting rid of them. Then you get into the boss battle, and then you die immediately, and then do it all over again. And it's like you do that like 20 times in a row, and you have like 3 broken controllers next to you. That particular boss was annoying. They did actually address that in one of the patches, or patch notes for the new version coming out, where they're saying they're basically dropping in more control, like more checkpoints, essentially for that sort of stuff. But the assist mode just makes it. If you if you struggle with that, basically you can turn on one-hit kills and just kill those things.
Okay. I remember fighting was it Tomasi, the flying guy?
Yep.
That was the one that nearly made me snap my controller in half.
I didn't have as much trouble with him as I did with the plant monster. But he definitely was one of the tougher ones. And the final battle as well, that was super frustrating. Just because it just didn't checkpoint. Like
it goes
there's
on
like
forever,
it's like these 4 pillars you have to go up through, and you have to get all the enemies over them to trigger the next pillar. And it's like you miss one or die, and then it's like you're back at the control point before the whole battle has happened, and it's like. Yeah.
Sorry, unrelated.
Yep.
Semi-related. Because I was looking at the store page. There's not a bundle with the season pass, unfortunately. That's annoying.
Probably.
But, yeah.
Do you already have the game, or are you just going to wait for the?
No, because I was waiting for it to go into Game Pass, you know. Because because it was definitely going in game. I think I might just get it. But I just scrolled down and it's like, what's new in this version? Because usually if there's patch notes, it sometimes will tell you, this one, what's new in this version? Update.
How
Good to know. Yep. Good to know. Yeah. But
I think I might get it then on your recommendation.
yeah, the assist mode, if you just want to do it quickly and just do the story and not really worry about it, you can now. You can basically just turn on invulnerability and one-shot kills. It'll take away a lot of the enjoyment of the game. I don't recommend doing that.
Yeah. I think I would play it properly.
Yeah, I think I only did it. I basically played through all of the last DLC without using it, and I got through and finished all of the main stuff. I just turned it on just to do the cleanup stuff.
Yep.
There's one particular. You discover this arcade machine, and you play with the arcade machine, and it kind of takes you into this alternate version world thing, and basically it's just like a challenge mode, essentially, like sort of wave fighting and it's like clock time one, so you've got to kill a number of people and keep your timer up. And so they were actually quite difficult. So yeah, I turned on the assist to get that achievement because who can be asked. So yeah, anyway, finished with Control, and that's pretty much all I've played Xbox-wise. The other thing I've been doing, though, now I think you guys know that I like Batman Arkham Asylum a little bit.
I've heard this, yes.
Yeah. So I've already completed every single version that actually has Xbox achievements. So I've done that. There's like about six of them, at least. So, and I had a thing in the back of my mind to do for ages, which is go and get all the trophies and achievements for every other single version as well. So I completed Batman Arkham Asylum for the 7th, 8th, and 9th time this week. And I have one single version to go, which is the PlayStation 4 version. I own the game, and I literally got a PlayStation 4 delivered to me today, so I will get the full cross-platform completion of all trophies and achievements in that game until they re-release it on the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. So the other thing I've been spending a lot of time on, as I haven't actually been gaming a lot, but I have a little project at the moment, which is to basically archive any or all of the Xbox Live Arcade library. And that's about approximately 800 titles. So what I'm trying to do is get a copy that's fully licensed, if I can, or if not, at least get the trial. And just basically chuck them onto a drive, and if people want copies of that particular software, then they can get it off me, because most of it, I'm imagining, is going to start being delisted more and more over time. And some of those are getting pretty hard to find. So yeah, I'm just kind of got the spreadsheet out, working out what's licensed, what I own, what I don't, which ones have DLC. I'm also going through and picking up all the DLC for it too, because that'll be even harder to find. So yeah, anyway, that takes a lot of time, just going through and going to store pages and downloading crap. Yeah, that's been pretty much my week. I haven't really done a lot. I have no idea what score I got. It would have been very minimal. Probably like 20 points or something.
You did. You probably did better than Alex.
Possibly. Nah.
You didn't. You definitely didn't, because Alex was only slightly below me. But
yeah.
You probably did.
I probably, well, if you counted PlayStation trophies and Steam achievements, I've actually done quite a lot this week.
Yeah, you're smashing all of us.
Oh, yeah, but I don't know that I can think of a game I would do 10 times.
Rocket League?
Yeah, that's different. I wouldn't play it on multiple platforms. I mean, I do play it on multiple platforms, but I don't get the achievements on the Steam. Yeah. Like, I don't go for the achievements there.
I was kind of lucky with the Steam version. There were two versions on PC, I think. So there was like the original version, and then they released the Game of the Year version. But only the Game of the Year version then got converted to Steam. Like, they removed Games Windows Live off it, which annoyed me a lot at the time, because basically they just completely removed it and there was no way to go back. So at that time, basically all of my progress actually just automatically mapped over to Steam achievements and unlocked pretty much all of it, which was nice. On the other hand, I couldn't go back and unlock the regular achievements because it was no longer that. So I actually had to go and buy a physical copy of the game in order to get the Game for Windows license back again to finish the game off properly. But yeah, so all I actually had to do on the Steam version was finish off the challenge modes. And as I'd literally just done that for the PlayStation 3 Japanese version, I'd sort of got all that down. So, Yeah, so it didn't actually take that long once I'd kind of got there. It was just a couple I had to clean up and do one full version, and yeah. The 10th version, 10th time through, will probably take me about 5-6 hours, I imagine, just to get the whole thing done. But, yeah.
But that's really not that much for that game.
Oh, he's got it down pat.
Well, so I play through the whole thing on hard. I basically just
Yep.
pretty much speed run the story up to the last sort of the battle before, like, there's like the party before you go into like the final battle.
Yeah.
Play it all the way up to that. That's when you've got all the gadgets, and then do all your cleanup and get all of the collectibles. And once you've done that, go and do the final battle. And just there's a few other sort of miscellaneous ones to get along the way that you just kind of have to keep in mind to do. Like particularly the one we've got to kill a Titan without throwing a batarang at him. There's one particular battle where it's easier to do that than anywhere else. And I'd missed that on the Steam version, I think. So I had to kind of go back and... It's easy enough to do. You can just do it in one of the challenge modes, but yeah. Anywho, yeah, Batman. Mm-hmm. Everyone should play it 10 times.
So are you excited for either Suicide Squad or Gotham Knights?
Suicide Squad, yes, but I want to see more of it. And it is actually in the Arkham Asylum, Arkham universe,
Yes.
so that's a big plus for me, and it's the same developer, so just based on that, yes, I'm not sure about the multiplayer element of that, or if there's going to be one, so that would be what would give me like cause for concern, because I generally enjoy the story of the games, and multiplayer, as soon as you add multiplayer like that, it will distract from the story, or you have to make a lot of compromises to the story to make it work for multiple players. So that's a worry. I mean, I've got the same kind of issue with Gotham Knights, because they basically explained right from the get-go that it was planned to be a two-player game. Any level can be played two-player, which means that if that's the case, then every single set piece in the game has to be designed around two-player people playing it, and that compromises a lot of the story beats that you might get. Also, it's by one of the things, Warner Montreal. Yeah. They did Batman Arkham Origins, and I wasn't a huge fan of that game. I mean, it was mechanically very similar, did all the right things. Just for me personally, it just felt a little bit empty, like just a little bit, lacking a little bit of soul. It had some good moments in it, but it just sort of, it just didn't feel quite right, I guess. Yeah. And also, the thing about that game is it's kind of annoying too, is that they introduced this weapon, the shock gloves, and like, this is Batman Origins. This is meant to be like before Batman Arkham Asylum, and he's just got the basic gadgets in Arkham Asylum. So this is before that, and you get these shock gloves, and they are the most powerful bloody things in the game. And as soon as you get them, you just wipe the floor with pretty much everyone. And it's like, where did he put these? Why didn't he have them in the later games?
He lost them in the Batcave somewhere. He dropped them off a thing. He could do it for him.
And
Alfred picked them up and went, "Oh, we have no need for these," and threw them away.
And they weren't even in City, like Arkham City, because Arkham City came before Origins. So there was actually a little cheeky reference though in Arkham Knight about that, and they actually show the shock gloves, and it's like, yeah, I didn't feel I need to use those. so they do like reference it back, which is kind of funny. But yeah, it's just.
And then you punch a few people and you say, "Oh, how surprising!" That's the line, right?
Question for you then: should I play Alan Wake first or Batman?
Depends on the style of game you want. Alan Wake is more of the creepy kind of horror kind of story elements, and I think the story in that's pretty strong. Arkham is much more about being Batman, and it's more focused, I think, on it's more focused on the predators. There's basically two kinds of things you do in the game when you're not just like moving from exposition to exposition. There's the predator rooms where you're in a room, you need to take other people silently. If you don't, they have strong weapons that'll kill you pretty much instantly. And just basic combat, which is your Batman beating up people. So that's kind of the two main gameplay loops in Arkham Asylum, whereas Alan Wake is really more set-piece kind of parts of a story. And the combat is kind of, I don't know, the combat in Alan Wake's a bit meh. Like, yeah, I wouldn't...
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
that's where it definitely struggles.
Yeah, I mean, it's not awful, and the mechanics of it, the light mechanic that you use in it, is kind of unique, but it's not the strong point of the game. I think the strong point of the game is the story-driven elements. Do note that you have to play through Alan Wake twice, I think.
Yes.
I was gonna ask just what that is. My voice is gone.
There's a difficulty that's unlocked after the first playthrough, and there are collectibles unique to that difficulty.
Nightmare difficulty. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When I played through Nightmare, it wasn't that bad. No.
It's fine.
Yeah, I would play both. But they are a bit different. And you'll have a bit more. You'll probably have a bit more of a satisfying gameplay aspect from Arkham Asylum, I would say. Like the combat is. The combat set the benchmark for a lot of other games of that ilk. They basically refer to it as Batman-style combat. It's just become that much of a defining
counter. Sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, even though Assassin's Creed, I think, sort of did that first, the kind of counter-attack stuff. Batman style kind of became ubiquitous for that style in every other game. It came sense. So yeah, the actual game part of Batman Arkham Asylum, I'd say, is better. But Alan Wake, the story's great. So
I might try Alan Wake first and then Batman after.
Yeah. That was me.
Alrighty then. So, moving on from that, we're going to go into our game tips, sales, etc. What time? No, nothing new for Games with Gold. Game Pass, there are a couple things coming in, but nothing that hasn't been announced already. And I don't believe there's anything announced leaving, so we're all good on that front. Sales. We have a relatively...
It's not a great one.
It's stuff we've seen before. Don't Knock Twice is 50% off, $6.24. iZombie, 75% off, 99 cents, which means it's like $3, $4 normally. So that's crazy. Pillar, 70% off, $2.39. Sea of Solitude, 60% off, $7.99. The Bridge, 85% off, $1.49. The Inner World, 60% off, $5.99. And The Path of Motus, 70% off, $4.49. Host recommendations, Matt.
So I'm going to recommend Call of Cthulhu, as I have done a few times before. If you didn't pick it up when it was Games with Gold, it is a relatively interesting, maybe let's say single A game. Was a first-person sort of puzzler with some stealth elements and a lot of dialogue options and that sort of stuff. I quite enjoyed it.
How did you find the randomness element to it? I think there was... I went to go back and kind of complete it. I played through it once, and I went and looked at kind of how you complete it properly, and it's just like, there's actually some randomness in a bunch of these things.
There's
like a tabletop.
There's a little bit of it. Like the very beginning has a bit of a random thing that's annoying, but once you get past that, like most of the randomness doesn't affect the game negatively. Like you can work around most of the stuff quite easily.
Okay.
It does make it a little more annoying, but not in a way that detracted. Like I still went through and did it and didn't really have any trouble with it.
Okay. I might go back and do it again. I just kind of got turned off a bit by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would probably recommend Monster Slayers. It is a roguelike deck building game. It's quite cheap. It's $3.74 down from $15. I mean, I've put very little time into it, but it's one of those games I know I'd enjoy. It's not as good as other deck building games such as Slay the Spire, which is absolutely fantastic, but it's pretty enjoyable and it's better than Cameron's squeaky chair.
Wow. Harsh.
It is, though. So that's... I mean, it's not like it's a false
statement.
Yeah.
Fair point.
All right. You got anything, Cameron?
I'm going to recommend the Forza Horizon 4 Ultimate Add-ons bundle, 60% off for $28.
Surprise.
To nobody's surprise. Just for the LEGO Speed Champions DLC. One of the absolute funnest DLCs I've ever played.
Oh, but it's not realistic. What have you got this not realistic part in my realistic game?
Well, if you want to realistic, then you just play Forza Motorsport 6 because you definitely downloaded it with Games of Gold, didn't you, Kirby?
It was before I had gold.
Yeah.
It was before I had
Sure.
Xbox. When did it come out? Genuinely, I think it would have been before it was on the Xbox.
It would have been Games of Gold September last year.
It would have been
Oh, really?
probably about 1 million Gamerscore ago.
Hold on.
I would say August or September.
Yeah, August 2019. Oh, apparently I did get it. No, you know, I don't even think I redeemed it. I honestly don't think I redeemed it because I knew I'd never play it.
Fair.
Great game.
I mean, often you go, oh, I know I'll probably not play it, but I'll redeem it because it's free. I think I literally went, yeah, no, not even going to claim it. Don't want to be tempted later. Okay.
Without a doubt, Forza Horizon 4, though, one of the best games on Game Pass.
Yep. Have you got something, Tarragon? Otherwise, I'll pick something for you that you probably would have recommended.
Well, I'll let you go with that. 'Cause
Tarragon's recommending Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
oh, wow. Good pick. Because I was looking through the rest of that list and going,
Yeah,
meh.
most of it's trash.
Yeah.
So Mirror's Edge Catalyst is probably the only thing that kind of jumped out. The other thing would be the Batman Arkham Knight Season Pass. Batman Arkham Knight's leaving Game Pass as well, so that's probably why it's on sale. But yeah, if you happen to like Arkham Knight and you didn't already have that, it's probably worth getting. It's only like $10 or something, so it's pretty good value.
And they give you a lot of content for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They do.
Hell yeah.
They do. Yep. Purchasing. I know Matt's not going to get anything. Cameron, are you likely to pick up anything?
No, not really.
Alright. I have purchased Tamashi, which I think is a shoot 'em up. No, it's a platformer. Sorry. Shows how much thought process goes into my buying. I got that. I got Brutal Rage, which is a beat 'em up. Yep, cool.
You got that
Very
one
easy
right,
beat 'em
yep.
up, apparently. I think I may possibly get... Oh, I also got Simulacra, which is... I'm pretty sure it's an FMV from
Wales
Wales
Interactive.
Interactive or something
It is,
like that. I know it's by Wales, and it's... So I like their stuff.
That one's been
only one
highly
I'm-
rated. It's been on my list to play for a while, actually.
Yeah. I'll probably get to that next month after Game Pass month. Because it's... Yeah.
Final
I've always
Fantasy.
and Final Fantasy. I would definitely get them done. Yeah, because they don't take long, especially since I can go offline and time skip myself to level 99.
That helps.
Yep. I'm possibly considering Sparklight. It's on xCloud. I'd love to play it on xCloud. Can't play it on xCloud. So I may get it. It's currently 50% off. And how much is it? It is $12.49 US, $17.97.
$5 at eBay, if you can find a copy.
Yeah, but then I'd have a physical copy that my GameShare partner doesn't get access to, and although they may never play it, and I don't really do physical.
I'm just saying that's why I need a disc drive for a new console.
Because you don't like to share. Got it.
How selfish of
He's
you.
going to play Sparklight?
Do you think you want to give him the option? No, you don't.
No,
You want to
no,
be
I don't.
selfish, Cameron. You want
Me-
to.
me-
You
me-
might
me-
only
me.
have to play
Into
Amek
post.
Arena. You may only play Amek Arena, Adrian. I am not buying anything for you.
You know the way.
Alright. Anyway, yeah. Oh, new games. I did have... Yeah, so... One I'm interested in that I can't remember what it's about, but I think it's along those lines of, the one... Vanishing of Ethan Carter,
Ooh, yeah.
along those lines. The Suicide of Rachel Foster.
Yeah.
That interests me because I have not watched someone play it on YouTube already, and I kind of am on a bit of a narrative kick.
Yeah, that was on my list. I'm probably going to wait for a sale on it, though.
Yeah. Car X Drift Racing Online also comes out, which we were all excited for. Car
Whoa!
X Drift Racing Online. Chapter 3 of Tell Me Why comes out tomorrow. Trying to think anything else fantastic. Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Don't Dry. Comes out next Tuesday. No, I think that's about it for... Oh, the Borderlands 3 DLC comes out tomorrow as well. I think it's the final one. Party Hard 2 came out last week. Super excited to get back into that because I really enjoyed the first Party Hard. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if everyone's quiet because I can't hear you.
I'm just waiting you to move on, buddy.
That's exactly it.
Alright, we have questions. Now, we're going to start off with Isaac, who sent in an email because he sent it first. So, I found this list of casual PC zone-out games on Reddit. What do you think about zone-out games, and are there any other zone-out games that you can recommend? Keep up the good work. So, zone-out games, he means on PC, are games that you can kind of just do a little bit. So, Microsoft Solitaire Collection, 2020 My Country, Alto's Adventure he's got on here. Things where, you know, you don't need to spend hours and hours sitting. You can sort of do a quick run and that's it. Or you can just zone out. Cosmo Run, for example. I'd argue Clicker Heroes on the Xbox One.
Neverwinter.
Stuff like that. Yeah, Matt recommends Neverwinter. Just launch Neverwinter, Isaac.
Don't do that, Isaac. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy.
Yeah, probably Elite Dangerous would be a nice quick one. You just pick that up and do a couple of things and put it down again. Doesn't take much time at all.
You get 10 bite-sized 10-minute little
chunk
sessions.
Yeah, that's flying from one place to another. That's your
Quick
10
adventure,
minutes.
in and out.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not technically zone-out games, but most roguelites, you could, like, the runs can be relatively short. If, at least initially when you're sort of still learning it, you know, max of maybe half an hour. So they're pretty good bite-sized little, I don't really have time to do much, so I'm just going to jump into a run of Enter the Gungeon or Dead Cells or whatever.
Yeah, this
might get a little bit...
Might sound a bit odd, but I think Minecraft is that kind of thing for me, because, like, I can just be... Like, my chill-out stuff in Minecraft, like just the Zen kind of stuff, is basically, okay, I just have a strip... Like, not a strip mine, but I have a mine that I just go through and I just knock down walls and find diamonds and go, woo! And it's just really not much. You don't have to think about it very much, and it's kind of just Zen-like, and you just put some music on and chill for a bit. And you don't have to do it for very long. It's just kind of a... You do a bit here, a bit there, and you slowly build up resources, or you build a part of your house or whatever. It's fairly low... low commitment, I guess. You don't need to put the time in right there and then. You can stop whenever you want.
Matt, Cameron,
the one that's the one that's been that my kind of dip in game. Most of the game isn't like this, but this part is Tom Clancy's The Division. So,
all right, whoa, okay then.
So I've gotten to a stage now where I have to grind out one of the underground DLCs is essentially just it's a run-based thing where you set up how many stages you want to go through and how many sort of what do you call them? Like, I want to say like problems, like setbacks that you can put on yourself to make you get more experience, basically. So there are 5. And so there's an achievement for like reaching level 45 in that or whatever it is. I think it's level 40 I think. Reach rank 40. It takes quite a while. Like it's got the time consuming tag on it, so you just run these things over and over again. You fight the same sort of enemies. It kind of works like a roguelite where it's just like, randomly generated, same sort of stuff, run through it, get some levels, get some you get the best loot, and you just keep running it every now and then. And so if I've got a few minutes and I just want to, spend some time working on it, I'll spend some time on it and just run it and go, it was fun, easy enough. I'm high enough level and have good enough gear that I don't really struggle with any of it. It's just kind of turn my brain off and shoot dudes in the face.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like just doing your dailies in like Destiny or something like that. You just get like, there's a bunch of quests, you just grind through those, get a little bit of XP, done. It takes you half an hour.
Yeah.
I was actually just the thought of another game that's kind of like one of those dip in, dip out kind of games where you just get a little bit of progress and it doesn't really matter. The Knights of Pen and Paper series. Yeah, so they're very much like you can just choose which battles you're going to fight, and you never really you just grind your levels up on various characters or start new ones and that kind of thing. But there's no real you're not under any pressure to do anything.
There's no urgency to get the thing done.
Yeah, and you can literally just do like one battle and just leave it, and you've achieved a little bit. And so I think those ones are good ones. I played a hell of a lot of that on iPad actually ages ago when it got first came out.
Yeah. As did I.
Didn't quite get into it as much on the Xbox,
but that's going to be, those types of games are going to be a lot better come next gen when we have multi-game resume or suspension, however you want to call, and the drop in to do your 10 minutes doesn't take 15 minutes because you're waiting 5 minutes for it to launch, load, crash because it took too long to load, go back into it, like...
Actually, funny thing about, just a total sidetrack, that whole, when your games decide it's taken too long to load, that's actually possibly a sign your hard drive is starting to wear out and getting a bit slow. Because that was a video I watched where they actually replaced the drive with an SSD. That was the symptom, was basically they tried to start a game, the console would load up fine, you tried to start a game, it would sit there, try and load, say it ran out, and then it would crash. So... Yeah,
that tends to happen for me when I'm switching from one game to another too quickly. Like I quit out and then instantly launch it, so it hasn't had time, I guess, to quit the processes properly to launch. So then it dies, and I just do it again, and it's usually fine the second time.
I think a lot of it might just be reading from disk, and if it's taking too long to read from disk, rather that's because there's errors on the disk or something like that that you won't see because there's no real way to tell that. Then that might cause some of those issues, and they might be transient because it might recover again the next time and have it cached. But anyway, sorry.
Do you think the magnets I have resting on the hard drives are causing that? I just have... That's where my magnet collection goes. Like, that's the only space I can find
that's
for
probably
it.
Unrelated.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
So do you keep your magnets on your credit cards, or is that's somewhere else?
No, he
that's
uses
that's
them
for
to
the
hold up his
magnetic
floppy
beads.
drives on the fridge.
Right.
Yeah.
Going back to Zonat games, I was just going to say racing is pretty much that for me.
Which is, it's the
Chuck on a
opposite
podcast.
for me, because I'm... Like, I have to be, super onto it to actually make sure I'm driving correctly, because I'm so terrible at it.
Whereas then I just completely zone
which way's
out,
right
fall
again?
asleep and slide off the road.
Yeah. All right. Now moving on to the stuff we got in our podcast questions channel, which was... this is going to answer basically a lot of the questions. Fug has asked, why is slow mode enabled? Slow mode is enabled because I don't want discussion to happen there. Like, I know I am the most hypocritical person for saying this because I've always said in every single server I go in, conversation is organic. Just, nudge it to the channel you think it belongs, but don't be like, oh, you can't talk about that here because this is... Well, we obviously didn't, start here. We grew on to the... But talk about it in the podcast channel. Talk about it in the chat channel. Try and minimize the discussion that happens in... podcast questions, please. I'm not going to get real crazy about it, but I would encourage you to discuss those questions elsewhere.
I might do that, so we'll see.
Discuss the questions elsewhere, or delete
ones that if things are getting too wordy and it's gone off track.
But that's what I don't know what the slow mode I set it to. I think I set it to 6 hours.
Right, okay.
Which I might I might just drop that to an hour because I don't know. We'll see, but. Easier to pull that back than it is to suddenly go, oh guys, this is not working, we're going to put in a slow mode.
The only times I've ever seen being really, really, really strict about conversations in channels has been for channels set up specifically to get boosting partners. So there's a Destiny server I was on. They had a specific channel that was just to talk about joining and partying with people, and the mods in there were just super strict. And it's just like, no, take it to this other channel. Take it to this other channel. I've told you 3 times now. Okay, you're off the server. Bye.
They kidding.
So don't screw around. And so I even did that myself. I was just like, no, let's just go talk over here. This is not the place for it.
Slow mode is 1 message an hour. I think that's fair. If people are finding that's not fair, then we can reduce that time.
Yeah, or
fair is in
or just message one of the mods and they'll post for you because we don't have that slow mode.
It's mainly it's mainly so that the questions don't get lost because I'm not sure if you've noticed, sometimes we forget to answer your questions because we forget about them because they've happened so long ago.
Yesterday was a long day ago.
Yeah. Okay. That's. I don't need any input from anyone else. That's why slow mode's enabled. Saber Lone Wolf has asked, what do you guys think about all the indie games getting achievements and every game becoming 1K and all these easy Gamerscore games when as the Xbox
There's some
when and as the Xbox One became available in its lifespan and Tarragon added on because Microsoft changed the policies around late into the Xbox Live Arcade, was it?
Yeah,
it was basically the end of it.
Yeah, they well,
in the 360.
we discussed that as part of this. I won't, don't need to actually state the question. I'll just expand on it. Well, first I'll throw it to you guys with the cheapening of Gamerscore.
I mean, we've talked about it a few times over the last 100 episodes or so, and it's kind of the thinking hasn't really changed. I think my view is as it always has been, is that you can get a good head start with easy score, but if you want to be, I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but if you want to be in top
number one in Oceania,
Neomaster 2005.
Yeah, okay. If you want to be number one on your region, chances are you're probably going to have to play a bunch of easy stuff, but also some stuff that's not sub 1 hour completions.
I long ran out of sub 1 hour completions to do.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I did them all aside from stuff that's releasing as it's releasing in the last weeks. I've basically done, so I've got to move to the 2 hour ones.
So get to your 2 million.
But, I mean, I've done Project Spark that had needed hundreds of hours, and I've done
we've all done large grinds to get up score. You can get a leg up, but it's one leg up. It's not both.
Yeah. Just looking at the history, I think it's a lot easier to get Gamerscore now if you have a low Gamerscore to start from, and you're on Xbox One. Yeah. You can increase your Gamerscore very rapidly with the content that's available now. Far more rapidly than you would have back in the 360 era, even late in the 360 era, at the same level. So if you were at 50,000K in late 360 era before the Xbox One had come out, it would still be difficult to get to 100K or 200K quickly. Whereas on Xbox One, you could put that on in the space of a month without really having to think about it much.
It'd be a terrible month, but you could do it.
It's becoming less and less uncommon to see people posting 100,000 Gamerscore months.
Yeah. So just on that fact alone, yes, it is much easier, I think, as a whole, to get Gamerscore on the Xbox One and the Xbox One era. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much undisputed. Yeah. And it's possibly also interesting to look at historically. I mean, I had an Xbox 360 from launch. It launched in Australia, so it was 2006. And the Xbox One came out in 2013. So that's a good 8 years worth of time. I'm not sure I even hit my 100K in that time, or if I might have got 150K in that time. But the amount of Gamerscore I've now got on my Xbox One has dwarfed my Xbox 360 Gamerscore, which is just interesting given it's been, it's another 7 years, I guess. But it's just, it's interesting. And plus, I also put more time into it, I suppose. So there's caveats there. But, it's interesting. The question I raised, or the point that I raised there, was more also about the lifespan of the Xbox 360, particularly towards the end, and their changes that they made to the Xbox Live Arcade system. Because historically, if you don't know, Xbox Live Arcade games were locked at 200 Gamerscore. I think they had a max of 12 achievements. They also had a limited, just technically, they had a limited memory size, and I think from the very get-go, they were designed so that they could always fit onto one of the memory cards that came up with the Xbox. So there was limits of what they could do, limits on how big the games could be, limits on what they could put in, limits on the achievements. They didn't really get showcased very well or promoted very well by Xbox. It was kind of good but kind of bad. Xbox slowly started to relax those restrictions. So I think they relaxed the memory restrictions first, and then they upped the Gamerscore to 400. And then later they also upped it to 1,000. There are actually a number of Xbox Live Arcade games that have 1,000 Gamerscore, which was kind of a bit of an odd thing. And even games like Minecraft, in particular, ended up with like heaps of Gamerscore and lots of achievements. So they kind of broke a lot of the rules. But that was much later in the lifespan, and I think it was probably easier in the later parts of the 360 lifespan to get get Gamerscore from the games that were being released then, not because there was a backlog of like a back catalogue of games to pull from. So I guess I think Xbox 360 end of the Xbox 360 era, you were starting to see this. I don't think it was specifically an Xbox One's phenomena. It just was the beginnings of it in the 360 era that kind of set the seeds for what we see now, which is an explosion of indies and a lot of easy Gamerscore.
Yeah, well,
and allowing it to be so much easier to self-publish.
Yeah, that was going to be, I was going to say, is the Xbox One, where they switched over from Xbox Live Arcade to ID at Xbox, they essentially created a self-publishing division where it didn't cost thousands and thousands of dollars to publish whatever game you wanted. You didn't have to go through a publisher.
And Microsoft didn't
have to certify.
Get it under their name.
Exactly, yeah.
And to be fair, that actually, again, preceded the Xbox a little bit, the Xbox One a little bit, because the Xbox 360, towards the end, they were actually opening up the doors a lot more in that respect. I remember specifically Fez, in fact, at Phil Fish. There is a bug in Fez. There's like a glaring bug in the Fez game, and Phil Fish complained quite loudly to everyone because he does that. But basically, he couldn't fix it. Like, he had a fix for it, but he couldn't release it because it would cost him $10,000 to just get the patch released. Because Xbox just had a flat charge of, you want to release a patch for a game, it's $10,000, which is like ridiculous when you're looking at a small indie game like that. Of course, you're not going to pay that unless the game's an absolute phenomena. They, like a couple of years after that, they actually completely dropped that fee, and there was no cost at all to patch a game. So yeah, I mean, they responded to feedback, and that was like towards the end of the 360 era, and I definitely think they took those learnings into the indie, like Xbox indie side on Xbox One, and
yeah, 100%. Cameron,
what he said.
Yeah. Pretty much it.
Alright, next one. Hawkeye Barry has asked, besides Gears, Halo, and Forza, I was about to say Hazo, what was this generation's best Xbox exclusive? Xbox and PC are okay, so a Win 10 exclusive is okay. I'm going to shock nobody in saying I personally believe, and I probably the sequel, but I haven't played it, Ori and the Blind Forest is the best Xbox exclusive that was not one of it. In fact, maybe Spiritfarer even. Haven't had a chance to play that. It might be up there as well, but from what I have played, Ori and the Blind Forest. And I know that's not everyone's, but for me that is the best Xbox exclusive and the best marketing you could get for Xboxes to show that game.
Yeah, I found that game highly frustrating, but I can see why people love it. And it's well loved and it's worth that. For me, I'm struggling to think of one off the top of my head. Funnily enough, Quantum Break, maybe. And I'm not even sure that it's exclusive anymore. But it is? Okay, yeah. Well, that's the thing. It was a good game, and I really liked the studio that did it. And I'm not really sure why it didn't succeed as well as it should have. But yeah. Anyway, Remedy kind of have this thing where they have these really great games, and then their marketing just really falls flat.
Yeah. Maybe they should have done like a Quantum Break American Nightmare, and that would have been
that worked so well for them.
Yeah.
But even Control was like that. I mean, they basically released exclusively through the Epic Store or something like that, and I'm sure that got them a lot of money, but basically nobody really heard about the game at all, and it was just like, but this is this amazing game, and like nobody's going to play it anyway. I struggle to think of other ones that are exclusive. I tend to dislike exclusives as a rule anyway, as is probably well known. So
the onus is on the console makers when nothing is exclusive.
Yeah.
Matt?
Oh man, That's a hard one.
Okay, Cameron. Oh, no. Don't. Cameron's going to be Forza Horizon, whatever.
No,
Four,
you're not allowed to
no,
choose
no,
Forza.
whatever.
You're not
No,
allowed to
it's
choose
fine.
Forza.
We got it, Cameron.
Don't
Oh, wait,
do
yeah, you
that.
can't choose Forza. Haha.
That's fine.
Sunset
You know what
Overdrive.
if
You're
it-
gonna choose Titanfall.
Oh, right, yeah.
Actually, I didn't even think of Titanfall, but yeah. What's
Didn't
yours,
you
Matt?
say that in the chat? I swear.
Yeah, I didn't think of it just
I
this
mean,
second.
obviously, it's Ubisoft's Fight to
Matt?
Within is clearly the greatest.
but I love that game so much. I own 2 copies.
Oh boy.
I don't know
like
why.
I'm looking at the list now. I guess Recall was okay. No, actually, no. Recall wasn't that good. Rise Son of Rome wasn't good. Quantum Break was okay. I guess.
What do you think? Rise was a good game.
No, it was very pretty.
Yeah, Rise looked
as a
great.
game. It was just okay.
Rise was a pretty game.
Yeah, sure.
That doesn't make.
I'd say probably Rare Replay is probably the best exclusive, which I know is like not a real answer because it's a million.
That is so cheating, but it's exactly the same as
Yeah,
what I was going to
it's
say.
probably the right answer, right? Like it's the.
I mean,
best,
Cameron,
yeah.
What?
you would clearly pick Sunset Overdrive, right?
No, I've got several answers.
Pick
Yes.
one. You get one.
Sunset Overdrive is totally
In terms of
overrated.
Best exclusive. In terms of best exclusive, and I'm not saying that because I enjoy the game. I don't care for it. But Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yep.
Sea of Thieves is one of those games that just launched abysmal in my opinion, but it's really made its stride with the.
To be fair, Destiny was like that. It released and it was thumped in the reviews, but now it is one of the more popular online multiplayer shooters. And that's just for releasing bad and then doing a lot of really good like updates afterward. I think the Division was probably like that too.
Yeah.
See, everybody out of my, I guess, achievement hunt. There are a few achievement hunters that do it in AHA, but outside of my
Circle.
my main circle, there's a lot of people I know that just really enjoy Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah.
Um,
I noticed none of us said
Games I
Crackdown
hadn't
3,
thought
so
about.
Yeah, I was just looking at a list.
games I hadn't thought about. Cuphead,
yeah, I was thinking about Cuphead.
Cuphead was another
but-
one. that I was
Yeah,
thinking of.
Cuphead was
Zoo Tycoon.
no.
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 I still
Killer
still-
Instinct.
yeah.
Killer Instinct's
Yeah.
good if you're in that
Did-
community.
Like I wouldn't play
Yeah.
it, but yeah, I could see that being one of the best games on Xbox.
Yeah.
I played it, very enjoyable.
I don't like fighting games,
Okay.
but yeah,
D4 was
I
also
think
one.
I think what we've discovered from this is that they need some more of them.
Yeah. Just give us more. Yeah. They just need to release more things so that we can not be struggling to think of one because there isn't many
Yeah,
options.
because nothing stood out to us for an entire generation.
Yeah.
I gotta say there are other ones that do stand out to me that I just haven't had the opportunity to go back to, like State of Decay 2.
Yeah, I was going to say State of Decay. Another one that's kind of off everyone's radar is #IDub.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't play it in its heyday when it was actually sort of populated and stuff. Because, again, came very late into the Xbox ecosystem. Didn't get it because it wasn't available in Australia, I don't think. I can't remember exactly. So I had to, get it from the US, and I didn't do that for, like, the first year of playing on Xbox. But, yeah.
D4, Dark Dreams Don't Die. That wasn't exclusive.
Oh, I love that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just said D4 before.
Pseudo-sweary.
Dance
Which one's
Central
this?
Spotlight was an exclusive.
All right, yeah.
Fantasia, Music Evolved.
Disneyland Adventures. All right.
Disneyland.
Come on. Let's move. What's the next question?
Alright, let's move on.
Okay. How do you guys feel about achievement? This is from Archie. A9XD. How do you guys feel about achievements getting discontinued when there are still active player bases? Destiny as an example. Probably Air Mech Arena as an example. Super active game.
Hey,
I don't know what's
Archie,
discontinued.
take a wild guess how you think I feel about discontinued achievements in any situation.
You love them.
Yeah, as
Totally
long as I
fine.
love them and other people don't.
I don't know what's discontinued in Destiny. They're putting stuff in the vault, aren't they?
So in Destiny 2, they're vaulting the Forsaken, is it?
Stuff before the Forsaken, I
It's
think.
Forsaken.
Theoretically, it will return, or no?
Depends.
Well, the
if
thing
they
is
feel
that
like
because they're reworking it for the new free-to-play stuff that they've moved it to, they essentially said, hey, look, we don't have the time or the money to essentially rework this old content to be compatible with the stuff going forward, so we're just going to take it out of the game. And so they said maybe we'll come back to it at some stage and work on it, but it won't be ready in time for launch, so you won't be able to access it.
So optimistically, theoretically, it's coming back. Realistically, probably not.
Can I just...
Bungie do have good form for dealing with their achievement issues, though. So
that's true.
If any company is going to fix that or do something about it, it would be Bungie. If it was anybody else, I would say, yeah. But yeah.
Can I just bring up the fact that the new DLC for Destiny 2? Do you know what launch date it is?
November 10th.
November 10th.
Yep.
It's going to be a launch title.
Yep.
Straight into Game Pass.
Yep, with all the DLC, right?
Bungie's definite launch title. Yes.
They better have ray tracing.
Yeah, I guess, Halo Infinite got delayed, so they had to get a Bungie title on there somehow.
Yep.
Yeah. I
love it.
So he's talking about Destiny 2, which I presume is relatively active. Like, it's fairly popular and active.
Yeah, quite.
Yep.
I have an example that another example. Elite Dangerous actually has a discontinued. Yeah. And that's very frustrating. I've got the achievement.
It's for the community
events. It's for community events, and they were weekly events that you could opt into and take part in. They stopped those 6 months ago or so. They had a replacement called Interstellar Initiatives, which were like a month-long thing. I don't think they actually ticked over that particular achievement, and now they've stopped those too, and they basically said, we are working on other stuff, and that's not even on our radar. Sorry. Yeah. And that's their official line on it. So that's really disappointing. And
Elite is a very active and very passionate.
Yeah. Maybe it's definitely on PC. It's much more active there. I'm not sure really what the console user base is like. Certainly not comparable. But there's definitely a lot of active people. And so that's quite disappointing. And it is a long, grindy game, to be fair. So that would probably put people off it anyway. But I also know that discontinued achievements are often a no straight from the off the bat. If people are going to look at a game and even partly think about getting interested in it, and it's a long grindy game like that, and it's already got a discontinued, no. So that's kind of sad because it's a fun game for the right kind of player, I guess. So yeah, it feels bad, man.
That's. Look, I've gone on rants about my unobtainables and my discontinued stuff, like Homefront and Naruto Ninja Storm and not Ninja Storm, but the original, the Rise of Ninja. That DLC that never came out. And
Hellboy.
Yeah, Hellboy, exactly. Yeah, that's it sucks like a lot. And if I could take some of those games off my tag, I would, to be honest, because it just. There are achievements on my tag that I will probably never earn, like the Mein Leben stuff and all that sort of thing. Like, I just don't have the skill set. But, there is a chance that maybe one day when
you'll get somebody to do it for you. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, that's true. No, maybe one day, I'll finish every other game that I have, and I'll sit down and be like, you know what? I have nothing but time. I'm just going to work on this till I get it. And then they'll shut the servers down.
Yeah, the thing is, I came to the realization that a little while ago, a long time ago actually, that it is going to be physically impossible for me to play every single game that I have and complete every single achievement in it. And
don't say that.
Taking on that mindset and going, I can't possibly do this, releases you from worrying about completions and worrying about those achievements and worrying about discontinueds. So it's like I actually don't care that much about discos.
Yeah. The problem is that I am about 250 games away from completing literally everything on my tag, which is a lot, but is not impossible. That's just enough for me to be like, it might be like obviously I'll never get 100%. Like it's impossible because of discontinuance and also because of my skill level. But you know, like I might hit 99% one day. Who knows? I mean, at that stage, I just close down the tag and stop playing video games forever and just go live in a hut.
Yeah, I just every year at the Bean Dive just to point out the complete ridiculousness of worrying about percentage.
Oh yeah,
thank you.
I have you know you guys all know this, but I create an account with the minimum amount of achievements on it and 100%, and then I enter that into the Bean Dive and then dive ridiculously large games. And I've now got a spreadsheet working out the potential lowest, like the potential largest possible drop. And there is a point in that where if you add, like, you play more games and you add, like, even a game that's got like 150 achievements onto your tag, your actual percentage drop goes up, not down. It's just there's like a little sort of peak where you can't actually put any more onto there because it will start going back.
Achievement you're earning is
because you earn one achievement and that is against your score, and so every single one achievement is actually more like stronger than every other achievement you're adding. It's funny math, but yeah. I have a theoretical limit that I'm trying to hit for the next Bean Dive. So we'll see. It's like 99.64 something. Yeah. Anyway,
wait, that was you?
Oh god!
I didn't hit it. Like I didn't hit the full.
I'm starting to hyperventilate just thinking about it.
I won't start a game that has I usually don't start games that have discontinued. Sometimes I don't care. Sometimes I do. Like, again, if it's an Elite Dangerous, yeah. But if a game I am playing gets discontinued, I go, oh man, that really sucks. But I guess it's okay too.
Yeah. You got to live with it,
like,
right?
I want to.
Depends
I
on the
still
game.
have idealistic dreams of completing everything that is completable on my tag.
Hey, look, if Smirnov can go and write a blog post and say, I can't keep up, I'm getting rid of these games, you know that it's not possible. Like he did a blog post that basically said, I'm getting rid of, like, it was about 300 games, and he said, I'm not going to be able to do these. Realistically, just not going to happen. And yeah. So if Smirnov, the completionist king of, like, Xbox, is saying he can't keep up and do everything, nobody can, as far as I'm concerned. So relax, let it go. You don't need to keep up with every achievement. It's fine.
Yeah, tell it to Neverwinter. I nearly got it. I'm so close. I'm 4 achievements away from being done with it. Anyway.
That's totally fine to, like, chase specific achievements, but don't...
Yeah, no, you're right.
I'm only 1,200 away.
Did not realize he hit 2.5 mil.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No, I'm just...
Guys, I can get there.
Just a million away.
Yeah, I was on track last month. I was ahead of him for like a good chunk of the month, and then he just steamrolled me at the end. I was like, damn it!
A little bit of a catch up there, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So thanks everyone for your questions. You know, keep them coming. We'll do our best. We will move swiftly onto milestones before we wrap up. We have, for Achievements 1, D Judd has reached 9,000 Achievements 1, but I have reached a number that is over 9,000. It is 29,000.
That is more than 9,000.
That's correct.
I think there's a meme. There's like a meme
more.
about that, isn't there?
No, I'm pretty sure.
No.
Okay.
I must be mistaken.
For Gamerscore, Neomaster has reached 1,450,000. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's alright, I guess.
Yeah. It's probably only like one number one spot. TA score, Professor Pluto has reached 800,000 TA, and if it wasn't bad enough that I was more than double his gamer score, I have reached 1.6 million TA. So suck it, big boy. Completed games, Ghostly Shinobi has completed 300, which is pretty good. Completion percentage. Now I was looking at raw numbers. It's very clear which one's better. When you dig in a little bit, it probably should be the opposite. PTART TX has reached a completion milestone of 96%, and Craig Kilger has reached 98%, but PTART has more achievements total on their tag, like as in more potential achievements. So
yeah, so it's hard. Every percentage point becomes harder to achieve. Yeah, that's actually exactly why I pull those stats, because getting 100% when you've got 3 achievements is nowhere. Is like going from 66% to 100 from a 3 achievement game, and that's all that's on your tag, versus having 10,000 achievements on your tag and getting like 1%. That's
Yeah, I don't think Craig Killier is that far behind. Like, it's maybe 4,000 or 5,000 achievements. So the 98% is still damn impressive. I just want to point out the fact that Pete Hart is an insane person. Yep. Where is that map? I don't know where it is. It's gone. It's gone and lost in the ether. Mad Eye Pad Eye, mental man that he is on a 2,750 day achievement win streak. I'm pretty sure he started it at the start of the Endless Beam Dive. I looked to Tarragon for confirmation.
Sorry,
nothing.
what? At the end of it?
At the
start, yeah.
He started his dive at the. Sorry, he started the streak at the start of the diving.
Well, let's have a look. Yes, exactly. 2,750 days. Yep. So that is one for every day of the Endless Beam Dive.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. And for leaderboards, Wakapel is now the top 10 of the TA leaderboard for cycling, because I'm pretty sure he did Descenders. Is what he's been doing recently.
All right.
Which is not a easy game. Man is crazy. Man is very good at games. Man is much better than me at games. Yeah. All right. That's pretty much going to wrap it up. If you would like to contact us and send us questions, you can do so like Isaac does and email us hello@realgamescore.com. Contact us on Twitter @realgamerscore. Be like Trimmy. You can find us on the Discord and ask us questions in the podcast questions channel. Oh my god, I've completely forgotten one thing that I'm going to need to say after this bit. Okay. It's because we don't have a card for it yet, and I'm dumb. And it's literally the title of the episode.
The one thing I reminded you about. Yep.
If you want to contact us on Patreon, patreon.com/RealGamerscore, you can write in questions on any of those places and we will answer them. If you would like to enter in the Real Gamerscore word challenge, the answer is
I changed one word. It says don't.
I know, I saw the don't. I'm like, I could have sworn it said remember.
It did say remember when I put it there.
Yep. So the word challenge for until it's won. This is a video game, so it's not a character.
That narrows it down.
This is a video game. No, that's not the hint. That's just the category. The hint is 92, and it's obscure as hell because I don't want Jay Black getting it week 1, minute 1 before the show is released. He's gonna guess it.
Yeah.
Are you saying you're 92? Is there alcohol involved?
No. The clue is 92. I'll probably give a clue every fortnight because I've got a fair few. The thing is, I know you guys know the answer, but you have no idea why.
I have no idea. No, that clue does not make any sense to me. So that's great. Really appreciate that.
That's good. If it doesn't make sense to you guys, it definitely won't make sense to the listeners, and it might last more than 30 seconds.
All right. Well, let's. Yeah.
Are you sure?
No,
yes.
We're done.
I'm definitely sure. 92 is the clue. If you want to help out the podcast in any other way other than contacting us or guessing the word challenge, subscribe to us on iTunes or whatever podcast platform you listen to, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc., etc. Leave a review on those platforms. Tell your friends. Retweet us on Twitter. Seriously, tell your friends. Word of mouth is super important. We say this every time. If you go into a boosting session, please mention us. It helps. You wouldn't understand how much it helps. Even just mentioning the Discord and getting them in there, because then they just, by nature of osmosis, they will learn about the podcast. And
look, from experience, it will result in a 10-minute rendition of just people absolutely butchering the final countdown. And then joining the Discord server. So, it's fun.
Subscribe to us on everything. It's real good. Individual contacts. Tarragon. How do people get in touch with you?
zzUrbanSpaceman everywhere. TA is probably best, and Discord.
Alrighty then. Cameron.
You can contact me under the gamer tag Shadowless Edge, the space between Shadowless and Edge, on TA, on Xbox, and you can also follow the Xbox Achievement community on Facebook.
Awesome. Matt.
Neomaster on everything.
Easy. And I am ChinDocta on all platforms, ChinDocta. And when I say all platforms, I mean all platforms.
Aren't you ChinDocta 1 on Twitch?
No, that's Mixer. It's dead to me.
Right, okay.
And everyone, actually. It's dead to everyone. Trust me, I accidentally clicked on my bookmarked link for my Mixer page. It's like, as of July 22nd, we're dead. Please go to Facebook Gaming, please. Please go. And it's got 2 links to Facebook Gaming.
Wow, that's depressing.
It's got a button
It does.
and the link. Both of them have a reference, like Mixer as the reference of how you got there. I wonder what the terms of use are. Oh, it's just Microsoft terms of use. What? That's dumb. Alright, okay. Anyway, that has been episode 107. Yep, nailed it. Remember, it is a video game and the clue is 92. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. We will hopefully be in your ear holes next week.
See you later.
Bye.
Peace.